Today's episode is brought to you by Audible. For you, the listeners of Awesome Sunday Show, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. And all you have to do is go to audibletrial.com/awesomesundayshow. It's audibletrial.com/awesomesundayshow. Sign up for your free 30-day trial. Check out over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or any of the other 500 devices that they support. Might I recommend The Hobbit, unabridged version by J.R.R. Tolkien. Forget the movies. Listen to the audiobook. They have 180,000 to choose from. Promise you won't be disappointed. All you have to do is go to audibletrial.com/awesomesundayshow for a free audiobook download with a 30-day free trial. Thank you, Audible, for sponsoring this episode.
And today's show is also brought to you by BarkBox.com. You can get one free extra month of BarkBox at www.getbarkbox.com/awesome. What is BarkBox? Well, I'm glad you asked. Every month, BarkBox paws pick the best all-natural treats and innovative toys to match a dog's unique needs, including allergies and heavy chewer preferences. All edibles are made in the USA and Canada, and 100% of the products are tested on animals. BarkBox is a great way to try different treats from local businesses, and each monthly box is also themed: New York City, Country Fair, etc., etc. And if the dog doesn't like something in the box, they'll actually send you something that the dog will love for free, because they're all about the dog's happiness, and there's free shipping on any BarkBox within the continental U.S. And if the dog falls in love with something from the box, you can easily find it again on barkshop.com or just by texting them or go on the app. So remember, if you want to nab that free extra month of BarkBox, go over to www.getbarkbox.com/awesome.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
Oh my god, you guys.
Hey everybody, it's time for the Awesome Sunday Show!
Hey everybody, welcome back to Awesome Sunday Show. Connor here.
And Pat?
Pat, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
That's good. I'm glad you're doing fine. I dig your shirt, by the way.
Thank you. It was a gift from my fiance.
Oh, wow. Your fiance has good taste.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. So we have a guest back here today that hasn't been back here for a while. But before we get to that guest, Pat, you want to get something off your chest about King of the Monsters real fast? Because I kind of want you to say it.
Oh, yeah. Everything that had to do with the humans, except for Ken Watanabe, sucked balls. So don't watch this movie and expect good interactions between the humans.
Yeah.
I literally, if I wasn't watching it strictly because of the monster fights, which has been my sole focus since the first trailer was released, then I would have hated the movie. But the monster fights were dope.
And I feel the same exact way, but I will say this. I enjoyed the bad parts because of sometimes how bad they were. I want to get that out there. But now back to the important subject, because there's an important person sitting right to my right. I said right twice in a sentence. Very special guest. You also thought of this topic today, which is actually a very good topic because I have some experiences I want to share. But before we start talking and before I keep rambling on, I would like for you to introduce yourself for the second time, and maybe for the first time if this is a first-time listener of Awesome Sunday Show.
Hey there.
That's how you do it.
It's Jake Mounter, which means nothing to everyone.
It means something to me. Maybe not to Pat, but
No, it means more to me.
Anyone who's anyone.
yeah. With that beard, dude, it looks like you're about to die for my sins. I'll tell you that.
It does. It feels a bit weird to introduce yourself to people who don't and won't ever know who you are. Mm-hmm. Like, you built it up. You're like a very special guest. I'm like, not only does no one listening know who I am, aside from our friends, but no one cares, including our friends.
That's very true.
But
Also, like when Alice Cooper threw the chicken into the audience, and the audience ripped it to shreds and threw the pieces back on stage at Alice.
Dude, that's insane.
That really happened in the they go over it in great detail in the movie Supermensch, which is one of my favorite documentaries. It was on Netflix for a while. It might not be anymore. It's about Shep Gordon, who is behind the scenes like one of the most prolific tastemakers in the history of kind of pop culture. He made Alice Cooper, managed Jimi Hendrix, created the concept of the celebrity chef.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Yeah, and a celebrity chef is like, honestly, it's almost like a concept that's almost like made for each other. Like the ingredients mix, like to no pun intended.
That was cute.
Yeah,
That was fully intended.
it was. All right. But yeah,
I'm gonna bite you.
But I think let's get back to the subject on hand because I
Christianity.
Because I also haven't seen you in a while, so I just feel like we haven't had a regular conversation in a bit.
Yeah, you walked in like a minute ago.
Yeah. I was stuck in traffic from work. But anyway, Jake, if you can articulate what the subject would be today.
Well, I just thought it'd be interesting to discuss because you asked your original idea was motion capture performances, right? Or
Yes.
like your favorite. And I basically texted you back like Andy Serkis is cool, but I don't think I'd have a lot to contribute here. I don't. My movie going habits I think are pretty different from. I didn't see Godzilla. I kind of held my nose when I went to see Infinity War, although I did wind up liking it more than I anticipated. I think it's a perfectly competent movie. It didn't blow me away.
Yeah. Well, I remember last time you were here, you said you're not a huge fan of the Marvel movies.
They do nothing for me, really. I mean, there's a lot of great mocap in Star Wars. Again, though, I mean, recent, Andy Serkis.
Well, I would even
or
go
what's his name who played Jar Jar Binks, which is just
Great
that
performance
was
ever.
when I started thinking motion capture should be a category at the Academy Awards because Jar Jar changed the game.
Yeah. Well, I would even expanded the subject further, even to video games, like motion capture performances.
Then
in
I
games.
would know. What video games I own? There's a PlayStation 2 in my apartment that hasn't been connected ever, and I have a mobile version of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for Sega Genesis on my phone.
Okay, but that is a great game.
That's my video game,
Yeah. Are you excited for the Sonic movie?
dude. It was so like when I first saw the poster or the I guess it was one of those like big cardboard things at a movie theater. It's the one of him up on the Golden Gate Bridge, and you can just see like the camera's like between his legs, and you're looking out at his Nikes and his humanoid legs. I was like, what the fuck is this? And then the trailer came out, and to me, the Sonic in the trailer was like, okay, well, what did you guys expect it to look like after seeing just the images of him?
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't too shocked. I actually didn't find like. The things that I found so egregious and offensive about his design were not what the internet was freaking out about. Like his teeth didn't bother me so much. I agree about the eyes. The eyes are
Weird.
are awful.
Yeah.
But it's Sonic is such a cartoony looking thing. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't look anything like what he's designed after or what he's supposed to. He's supposed to be
Yeah. I
Sonic the
wouldn't
Hedgehog.
know that was a hedgehog unless you told me.
Right, exactly. He looks
Yeah.
like some sort of a cat or, whatever animal has 3 dorsal fins down its back, but is also a furry mammal who runs and is bipedal.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like a mix between like a dog and a shark almost, or a mouse and a shark.
Yeah, that's actually, I wouldn't have thought of that. But I think it's has there ever been they're not shelving it, but has there ever been a major delay of a movie due to backlash at trailers? Like obviously movies get shelved or delayed from bad test screenings, but I doubt they did tests on it yet.
I don't know.
I don't know, but there's this one theory going around which started off as a joke, but it's probably not insane to think about with like how marketing changed these days. That who is it, Universal or Paramount or whoever it is that's releasing this?
I believe
I
think it's Universal.
It started off as a joke, was like, oh yeah, we'll put in this horrible design to build buzz about the movie because people would be talking about it and looking up at the trailer, and then we'll pretend to delay it and like they had action for it, which is ridiculous. But at the same time, I can't recall something like that happening with a trailer.
not delayed, like color changes have changed. Like when for X-Men
sure.
Apocalypse, when fucking Apocalypse was looking like Ivan Ooze, like they
Yes.
altered it a little bit, but the movie was also still in production anyway.
Right, and also like keep in mind like there's like trailers where like they'll show you scenes that aren't even in the movie. I mean, Marvel.
that's different.
Yeah, well, Marvel does it intentionally because they're avoiding spoilers.
Right.
But the Paranormal Activity movies do it because they're just cutting a trailer and the movie's not even finished yet. And
Oh yeah,
Well,
well I
happens
mean
a
that
lot,
happens
yeah.
too. They'll trim it for time or whatever. A
Yeah.
scene won't test well, or it'll just flow better without it. But like that, it's funny you mentioned that because I just watched the that End of Watch, the documentary or the last watch on the making of season 8 of Game of Thrones.
Okay.
And they actually flew actors who weren't in. So like when they had to shoot in Spain, they flew actors who weren't going to be in those shoots down there to be seen publicly,
For
just
the fake-
as like red herrings.
Yeah.
So someone's like, "Whoa, the actor who's playing the Ice King is at where they're shooting King's Landing."
Mm-hmm.
You know, which they didn't do that because that would have been interesting.
wait, hold on. Actually, we were gonna get to your subject, but fuck. So
No, we're
Yeah.
off-roading a bit, but we can
That's
get back.
fine. Yeah,
That's awesome,
The
son.
cuffs
Go
are
away.
off.
Oh boy.
How did you feel about the last season of Game of Thrones?
Yo, fuck DB Weiss and fuck David Benioff. Yo, they got senioritis when Disney offered him a Star Wars. Did they offer them a Star Wars show or like a trilogy?
Trilogy.
Yeah,
and they were like, let's wrap it up.
I'm sure with a bunch of fucking hookers behind there too, and like
Dude.
blow and all that.
Here's the thing. Have you ever looked at their IMDb?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what they did before Game of Thrones?
X-Men Origins
Basically,
Wolverine.
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
No, they literally
made
did it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They did. They made the first Deadpool. Not the first Deadpool movie. They made Ryan Reynolds
That
mouth
abomination
fused
from
down,
X-Men Origins
where
Wolverine.
he's
You know
controlling
that's
him. He's
Connor's-
controlling him like a Dota character or something.
That is Connor's favorite comic book movie ever,
Is it?
Yeah, no.
aside from Suicide Squad.
I can share this with you. Not now, obviously, I don't have it. But one of my prized possessions is a copy, an unfinished copy of X-Men Origins Wolverine. The effects house that was doing the visual effects on it accidentally leaked. The
I remember that
full
happened.
feature. Yeah,
Yeah.
the full feature when it wasn't finished yet. So there are things like pieces of animatics still there, or unrendered CGI is still there. There are even a couple cases where. You know how like a football they can draw on the screen and that
Yeah.
yellow thing? There are a couple cases of like make his nails grow when Sabretooth is tapping on glass or something like that, so that when it got passed down the pipeline they would know, okay, this is where we CGI his.
Yeah, and I actually like because it was also on the internet too. I think it was like 2009 when it got like was that when it got leaked when the year it released, but I'm trying to think of the year it got released.
Well,
I
here,
have the internet on the.
Well, I was still working at a country club at the time.
It would have to be 09,
2009.
I think. Because I got it from a kid in the basement of the hobby shop in Wall Township, which is no longer there, where we would go and play like Yu-Gi-Oh! And
I remember
Warhammer
that
and shit.
place. Yeah, I used to go to Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments there.
Yeah,
yeah, Jersey
really?
Shore Hobby Shop. Yeah.
With Tom and
I didn't go. I didn't know them at the time.
Okay.
But I went there, so it's weird because we were probably there at the same time.
Yeah,
but we didn't-
absolutely.
but we didn't know each other.
Well, you know, it's fun. It's like I don't know if you guys know Rob Bost, but we found
Yes.
out that
Yeah.
we found out that we knew each other like years before we met in high school, because holy fuck is this uninteresting for anyone who doesn't know us.
Whatever.
But we used to get together and watch Dragon Ball Z because his aunt would babysit him and she was my neighbor.
Yeah.
And then we just didn't see each other for years, and then somehow we reconnected on that. But you asked me what I thought about the season 8 of Game of Thrones. I think it sucked noodles, and there's just so much. Like, okay, first of all, Arya has no connection to the Night King, so why does she kill him? Ultimately, Jon being a Targaryen has zero bearing on the story, aside from the fact that it drove a wedge between him and Dany, which could have been accomplished in a number of other ways. I mean, George R.R. Martin, I believe, wrote that Jon was the true heir to the throne, so I'm fine with them keeping that. But if all you're going to do with the show, because the books will undoubtedly be very different, if all you're going to use it for in the show is to drive a wedge between him and Dany, then what's the point? Also, why does the dragon know to melt the throne? I guess, is there some sort of I guess we're supposed to accept that there's some sort of psychic link between the dragons and Dany. It knows when she got stabbed.
Well, I think. Well, I think.
Well, because he saw the pointy thing in her, so he saw the other pointy things, and he's like, "Oh, that's what killed her."
I thought you were gonna say something serious.
Oh, Christ Almighty!
Well, to me, like the way I got it was like, even though he saw John stab, or he knows John stabbed Danny, the dragon's smart enough to know it was the throne that killed Danny. Really, in the end, like it was sort of like.
I hate you.
I know, but like I'm
That's
not
like no, I get that. It's also you could maybe argue that it's interesting foreshadowing that the next king won't need a throne.
Yeah.
Which Bran becoming the king was George R. R. Martin's plan.
Yes, but I suspect that he will do it in an interesting way.
Well, yeah, he's actually going to
Good
flesh
way.
it out to make it not ridiculous.
Well, here's the thing. This was my huge problem with it. I didn't hate season 8 of Game of Thrones. I was definitely disappointed. There were some parts I liked, but I definitely even though I feel differently about it, I 100% agree with the huge criticism that it feels rushed, and it was rushed because things just happen way too fast.
Well, what fan would ask for fewer episodes in the last 2 seasons?
Nobody.
What fan would ask to have like entire storylines dropped or I mean right down to they left
or just to have so many
wasn't
important
Bran like
things.
not in seasons? I can't remember off the top
He
of
was
my head.
not in season 6.
He wasn't in season 6? I think it was 7, right?
No,
No, he
He
must
gets
have been
brought
in
back
7.
Yeah,
yeah,
he was
it
brought
was.
back
I
in
think it was
Okay.
6.
But and also I didn't really care. It didn't bother me like that. Like the end results of what happened. It was just the way it happened. Like it. So
I
like
agree.
Danny.
Except for John being exiled, that was fucking stupid.
Okay, yeah, I thought that was stupid too. But but it didn't bother me as much. What bothered me more is like in episode. It wasn't episode 3 because that was where the Night King was. I have a gripe with that too. In episode.
Oh, you mean how the Night King was built up for almost 10 years, and then
Yeah.
Arya just gives him a little stab in the gut. He works, and he dies immediately.
I didn't care that he didn't die at the end of the series. What I cared
that
about
doesn't
was
matter.
Yeah, because he is the catalyst that was supposed to bring them together, and then have them fight Cersei. So like
I mean, that's why that's why John and Danny came together.
Yes.
Is because he needed help for the Night King.
Yeah, so like I never expected the Night King to be like the final boss, like most people were saying. Like I always figured the show's called Game of Thrones, not Escape the Night King. you
Well,
know?
right.
That's
but
fair.
Yeah.
The
However,
conflict with the Night King should have been a full season's worth.
oh my God, yeah.
100%.
Like 10, not the short ass shit.
Yeah.
A full 10 episodes.
And also back to the Danny. I think it was episode 4 or 5 where she burns down King's Landing.
The Bells.
Yeah, the Bills.
Episode 5.
That was very Anakin Skywalker-ish, where they like just
yeah.
turned evil.
No, because Anakin the prequels are brilliant. I don't know.
Thank you.
I mean, yeah, it's the switch flips way too quickly. I mean, we spend how many years and that's the thing is like people are like, "Oh, all these episodes." No, it's like these are the years of hundreds of tens of millions at least people who watch it.
Yeah.
Years of our lives. Mm-hmm. I have been watching the show and excited about the show and waiting for we just spent over a year waiting for this season to come out for you to just drop a turd in her lap. And I just think it was irresponsible. I think and here's the problem is if Game of Thrones wasn't this thing that took the world by storm and made HBO hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, or $1 billion, D&D, the writers, the showrunners, wouldn't be looked at as favorably because they dropped the ball so hard.
Well, and there's one thing that everybody, since the beginning of the season, not, the show, is when it comes to the finale, they're never going to please everyone. Well, yeah, all right, that's fair, but you're using it in the wrong way. There's a difference between...
ask Vince Gilligan that.
There's a difference between making a great effort to finish the show as best as you can, and then there's what happened with this, which was garbage. Like, they didn't put in the effort. They just produced a pile of shit. So there's a big difference between doing your best to make the best possible conclusion you can and having people not be completely satisfied. That's one thing. It happens. But then there's putting no effort into it at all and just making a steamy pile of shit right out for millions of dollars. And how about Lena Headey had the best job over that season?
Oh, yeah,
she got paid millions of
an
dollars
episode.
to stand in a tower and drink wine.
If I were her, I'd be furious. And I think a few of the actors were very upset. And,
there's a full compilation, yeah.
I've seen that. Yeah. But there's actually in the documentary that HBO produced and put out,
I still haven't watched it.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's actually a really good analog for the 8th season. It's fine. It's 2 hours long. It's bleh. But Viserys, the Whisperer, the Master of Whispers, right? Varys, sorry.
I always think it's Viserys too.
There is a Viserys,
That
isn't
was
there?
her brother, Dany's brother.
Yes. That's like Sauron and Saruman. Anyway, Varys, the bald eunuch who has a team of small children.
Well, he's not doing anything with
Well,
those
I guess
kids.
that's true. Yeah, you're right. Don't touch the kids. Let the kids touch you.
Yeah.
So he, when reading his death, he's leaning back. This is not good for a podcast, but he leans back in his chair like this with the script, and he sees his final words, and he folds the script back up, and he throws it into the middle of the table, and then sits like this, and Lena Headey pats him on the back. Yeah, I get it. We all got fucked here. Well, not everyone.
Yeah.
But I mean, really though, everyone's character got completely fucked. Arya's gonna go play Dora the Explorer. Sansa's the only one who really made out. Sansa got what she wanted.
Yeah.
And plus, Greyjoy, Theon's sister,
Yara.
Yara was like, all right, I'll do this, but I get to be queen of the Iron Island. She wanted to be the first queen. And then she's like, yeah, all right, fine. We'll be part of the Six Kingdoms. And then Sansa's like, well, no, we're going to be on our own. And then no one else is like, whoa, wait, hold on. The North gets to be on their own?
Yeah.
Well, I want to be on our own. And then it starts this giant...
No, I agree. I will say, I'll say.
And
that-
kowtowing to Grey Worm, sending away the guy who single-handedly saved Westeros because Grey Worm's pissed off. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. The second they
are you happy that Grey Worm lived or no?
no, fuck Grey Worm.
Oh,
Here's
dude!
the thing.
After
okay,
when
so
he
I
started
agree.
attacking
yeah.
innocent civilians, Jon should have put him down. Right
I
then and
agree.
there.
Yeah.
Grey Worm should have died, 100%.
Grey Worm and Dany had the exact same character arc.
Yes. Yeah, that's weird, actually. Yeah.
But it's okay because they're going to Noth and they're going to be killed by the butterfly plague. That's a real thing that is on Noth. If you're not a resident there, you will get killed by it because the residents there have immunity to it.
Oh, really?
So
Is that like Grayscale?
It's not grayscale. It's their own version of grayscale.
Okay.
So it's just another plague.
So they're just
They're going there to die anyway.
well. Then here's the thing. Why not just be like, all right, John, you're going to the Night's Watch. You guys get Noth. Okay, John. Here's what you're gonna do, John. You're gonna go and you're gonna hide out in Winterfell for a couple days, and then they're gonna get to Noth,
Maybe
and they're all
a couple
gonna
years
die.
The most.
Yeah, maybe, but it doesn't matter because in season 8 you can get from Winterfell to King's Landing in about 30 minutes if you
Yeah,
get
that's another thing. Yeah, it's like, dude, I loved in the so.
in season 1 the King's Road, that's like half the season or some shit. It's like 2 episodes at least.
So I started watching Game of Thrones after season 6 ended. I binged it.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, I was a late bloomer. I
Just like in life.
yeah, pretty much. I didn't have a girlfriend in high school. I was a late bloomer. After high school, I was the man, though.
Well, you were married to Jesus in high school.
I was married to Facus.
Okay. Should we get on to the topic at hand?
Shit. All right. Fuck, I lost my point actually now.
You didn't have one.
No.
But you brought up John's heritage before, and
Yeah.
what they kept bringing up in every episode this season, but then when Tyrion decided new king, not a single fucking person who made a big deal about it spoke up about it.
Right.
Again, it's like, dude.
This has been our system for time immeasurable, and now this prisoner of war is going to decide who. Like, granted, he's kind of shouldn't be a prisoner, and they know that. But still, also, they're the lords and ladies of Westeros. They are the 6 or 7, whatever they are, plus Sam for some reason, most important people on the continent. It really, here's how the conversation should have went. All right, so Grey Worm walks up with Tyrion. I have brought you the prisoner. Okay, thank you. That'll do, Grey Worm. See you later. oh, but he is not allowed to. No, we're in charge. Kindly fuck off now. And then
Yeah.
Grey Worm goes, oh, okay. And then fucking leaves because he's a soldier and essentially just fucking fodder for kings and
he
queens.
does get promoted to Lord of War. No,
Okay,
Nicolas Cage.
for the
Doesn't
queen,
matter.
for the dead queen. Who
Yeah.
gives a shit?
Right? No, and again,
Bran could stand up and fucking. Oh, she's not there, is she? Is Brienne there?
Brianna Tarth. No,
Yeah.
she wasn't. Or was she there? No, she wasn't.
Oh no, she was.
No, she was writing about Jamie having a small penis.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She didn't wait for the ink to dry.
Yeah, that annoyed the fuck out of me.
What a stupid nitpick. With all of the glaring problems in this season, people are like, she didn't wait for the ink to dry. And people on Reddit the next day being like, oh, this is the best part when they're just posting pictures of John petting Ghost. Fuck Ghost. Why? Here could be a whole topic in and of itself. Why people give such a flying fuck about when a dog dies in a movie. People are like, oh, if you kill that dog, I swear to God. Or like in two Will Smith movies I'm thinking of, I Am Legend
Yeah,
and
that's the one that
Independence Day.
everyone thinks.
Right, but
Yeah.
then Independence Day when the dog jumps away from the
Boomer.
the tunnel. Yeah,
His name
Boomer.
Boomer. Dude, that is I still actually follow the show a lot, like Nostalgia Critic on YouTube.
Do you?
I do.
Oh, I could talk about that for a long
Yeah,
time.
and like, dude, when he does the Independence Day review, and he just the whole episode, he's screaming. He's like, I don't give a fuck about the human characters. He's like, what about Boomer?
yeah, but that's a real attitude that people have, and I believe that that's partially. I don't understand that.
It's because here's the thing: like people that own dogs, think of it this way.
I
Like,
grew up with dogs. I still
know.
don't get it.
That's fine. It's just the way I'm thinking.
Fuck you. I've had a dog.
It's like, dude, imagine walking through the door every day and the same animal is so psyched to see you every day. It does nothing wrong, and when it does something wrong, it doesn't know it did something wrong, and like it's just this innocent creature, and it's just I get it. Like I'm not. Here's the thing: I feel just as bad when a dog dies as when a human dies in a movie when I'm supposed to feel bad about
That's
it.
so interesting because for me, it's like I feel like you could make a movie about like crib death and just a rash of infant
Yeah.
deaths. But
Well,
then
Alien
and
vs.
then
Predator Requiem. Actually,
okay, but then
Yeah.
at the end of the movie, the dog dies, and everybody's like, "Hey, when that dog died, I just couldn't handle it." It's like 15 human children died in the making of this movie.
Yeah,
And
dude,
you care
a
about
child
the dog.
died during the making of the Twilight Zone movie.
2 children and Vic Morrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was there was a big court case about that. Obviously, I mean, 3
I think,
humans
like,
were decapitated.
I think like just recently,
2 were crushed. 1 was decapitated by the helicopter, I believe.
just recently, I'm pretty sure like it was just settled like a few years ago. I want to say.
Really?
Yeah, like John Landis was finally like.
I thought John Landis was exonerated. I mean, I don't know if that's the right term, but
Well, here's the thing. We're also discussing like legal mumbo jumbo, which I'm.
I'm a lawyer.
This is where I wish I had Dalia here actually, because he's a lawyer and
Chris D'Elia is a lawyer.
No, his older brother Anthony.
Oh,
yeah. I should have emphasized Anthony because I knew you would have thought about his younger brother first.
okay.
But yeah. So Game of Thrones, definitely whether you like it or not, it's hard to pass off that it's definitely disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, but like I texted my dad right after. I was like, "What'd you think?" And he was like, "I thought it was great," but like he watches the O'Reilly Factor, so like
Dude, was he mad when Bill O'Reilly was kicked off Fox News?
probably I don't know. I try not to talk about it as much as possible, because it hurts.
Stephen Colbert had the best joke about Bill O'Reilly I think I've ever heard about Bill O'Reilly. Because when Bill O'Reilly was fired, he announced he was going to start his own podcast and do that. So Stephen Colbert goes, "Good news, Bill O'Reilly is starting his own podcast. So everybody on 25 and under can teach their parents how to use a computer so they can listen to Bill O'Reilly's podcast." Dude, it was just so funny.
Well, what he's doing now is he does these 5-minute segments and sells them to radio stations.
Oh, yeah.
They're like the O'Reilly update or something.
He should have just stayed being a historian. and
Is
that's
this a
it.
movie podcast?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
get away from all the Game of Thrones was fine, but now we're stretching into territory we shouldn't be in, and I'm going to cut a lot of that.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
actually introduce the topic that you wanted to talk about today.
I mean, leave some of it. But, well, I thought it would be interesting to kind of talk about just like the movie viewing, movie going experience. because it's changed a lot in the last couple of years. It's going to change a lot more in the next couple of years, I think. And I know a lot of people who would be like total frequent moviegoers who just don't go anymore, and people who hate the experience. I mean, the Red Letter Media guys say, they themselves say going to the movies sucks, and that's crazy to me because I relate to them so much. As in, I love nothing more than watching movies. I love a couple things more than watching movies, but like it does kind of suck now, depending on where you can go. So they live in Milwaukee, and I've actually been to the biggest movie theater in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's an AMC. I could be wrong about that, but it's a massive theater in Maine town, downtown Milwaukee, whatever. Anyway, and it does suck because it's an AMC. I mean, AMCs suck.
Yeah, but have you ever sat in a Dolby Vision AMC theater?
Yeah, and they're pretty cool. I'm not necessarily talking about quality of their their screening capabilities.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because I'm not. If it's in focus, like I like going to IFC Center where the screen is like 12 feet diagonally and there's 12 or to 25 seats in the theater. If it's in focus and I can hear it, I'm pretty happy.
Okay. Because
that said, I love IMAX. I love Dolby.
Because I'm honestly kind of a snob when it comes to that. Like if it's standard, that's
Oh,
cool.
you don't know the new thing. Connor has the best sound system in
go
Ocean
fuck yourself.
County.
That's not true.
He said it.
No, okay.
That's really saying something too.
Origin of the joke.
Get ready to cut this.
So I wanted to do the Game of Thrones season 8 premiere at my house, but like I didn't want to have any arguments about it because I was either watching it at my house with people or watching it at my house by myself.
Gotcha.
So I was like, listen, I'm doing Game of Thrones premiere at my house. I have the best TV and I have a better audio system than all of you fuckers. So we're watching it at my house. That was interpreted into I have the best audio system in the world or Ocean County or like
Well,
whatever
no,
they
because
decide to say.
after that,
Connor's kind of a cunt.
yeah, because after that, we're like, oh, okay, Connor, like, way to rub it in our face. He goes, listen, it's not my fault. I have the best in Ocean County. I'm sorry.
I never said that. I never said that.
You know, I remember
was definitely
hearing him-
probably more of
I
a
got
dick
receipts,
afterwards.
dude. I got
but
receipts.
No,
Anyway,
but yeah, I'm definitely like I need that. Like I'm spoiled.
Okay, see, that's interesting because for me, it's like, and that's part of why. And now this is where I sound like a snob and say, like, I think our movie going experiences are really different.
Yeah.
As in, to me, I don't need to be shaken by surround sound. I love, one of my favorite movie going experiences of this year so far was seeing Apollo 11, the documentary, in IMAX at Lincoln Center, or rather Lincoln Square. And it was fucking incredible. It was footage, that was shot during the Apollo 11 launch and landing, and the moon landing, that is of such a high quality that when I was watching it, I was like, okay, I could see someone seeing this, someone telling them it's from the 60s. And saying, well, that had to be faked because it's of such a high quality. That's also just kind of a misunderstanding that a lot of people have about the quality of film as a capture and display medium.
True film is like still better resolution than you get at 4K or 8K right now.
Well, that's almost a misnomer, and I know that you actually know, so I'm not being like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But to call it resolution is like,
it's fake. It's not accurate.
right?
Yeah.
It's so like what film is, and I'm going to butcher this a little bit, but it's basically, it's a strip of basically, is it carbon? It's like basically it's like a strip of carbon paper with silver halide crystals and an emulsion over it. That when it's exposed to light at varying degrees, it erodes the emulsion and exposes and kind of tints the crystals in a certain. I'm really fucking that up. I don't remember the science of it from school, but it in that way, it's not a countable number of pixels. It's alive. It's why when you watch.
Analog.
It's totally analog. It's why when you watch something on film, the image kind of dances a little bit because the crystals on each individual frame, of which you're watching 24 every second, if not more. Well, when you're watching it, you're watching 24. No two frames are alike, even if someone is standing still, which in digital kind of is. That's not really a great comparison. But
But I understand your concept, and maybe I can branch off it a little more. So
Please.
like with original film, it's almost unbeatable. I say that now, but 20 years from now, I'm sure something will come out. But
it's just different, though.
it's different. It's kind of like listening to digital music and analog music on a vinyl. It's like it's almost like there's an extra essence there of your enjoyment. It's a different experience. And what I mean by that, to branch off of your point, as far as when it comes to experience, like things shot on actual film actually transfer better digitally than things that are shot digitally, just from a pure visual experience. So, like for example, like if you buy Thor Ragnarok on a 4K Blu-ray, it's most likely like 2K or 3K or maybe 3.5K.
Well, it's
upscaled.
like UHD or whatever,
it's
which
upscaled to 4K.
Right.
Anything shot on film, even like The Matrix or like Terminator 2, back to the bridge on the River Kwai from the 50s. That is actually true 4K because film is still better.
Well, it's true.
It's
whatever you can scan it at.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think that they've said that 35 millimeter film will be able to hold up to 10K, which is
in comparing. Is that what you mean?
As in after if you scan. So when you. All right, so let's take let's say Back to the Future, which was shot on 35 millimeter film. If you've ever watched it, on a Blu-ray, or really anything other than it being projected on film, that film had to be scanned. How that happens now is basically a camera takes a picture of each frame, and your scan resolution is limited to the resolution of said camera. But then usually it's dumbed down a bit because, let's say, even a prosumer level Canon Rebel T2i camera that's $500 can take a picture in 5K, not video, but a photograph. So you could essentially have a 5K scan of a movie shot in 35 millimeter. And they believe that you would start to see diminishing returns at around 10K resolution of a scan of 35 millimeter, which is crazy to think about because a 35 millimeter film frame is about the size of a postage stamp, when a 70 millimeter film frame of film is about the size of a credit card. So there's just so much more information in a frame of film than what is currently
and
possible
it's cool
with
because
digital.
it's not ones and zeros. It's
no.
analog. It's
it's dancing crystals,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy to think about and weird to say and kind of overly romantic, I guess. But it really is. It's light on crystals.
Yeah, that's cool. It's like the science of film is like really interesting to explore too, because if you really think about as far as I remember like the movie theater experience has increased dramatically just from when I was a kid. Now imagine when our parents were kids,
You feel it's better?
I feel again, like you said it before, our experiences vary. As far as when it comes to people, definitely not. No.
Audiences are trash.
I think audiences have actually gotten way worse over time.
1,000,000%.
Yeah, but as far as when it comes to the quality, dude, I'm sorry. I remember seeing the Pokemon movie when I was a kid, and there was surround sound, but I didn't feel there's especially with sound, and if you have good sound, you don't just hear it, you feel it. You hear things, but I didn't feel like a helicopter flying over me because of the sound.
Sure.
That's insane. Atmos is incredible as how they're able to capture that sound. So yeah, I think technically speaking, it is 100% better.
Yeah, see that's interesting to me, and that's it goes back to what do you think was one of your best theater experiences this year?
Honestly, dude, probably Endgame. Endgame and Dolby Vision is insane, man. And also too, to be fair, I'm people people are saying Dolby Vision is now it's newer, nobody really cares about IMAX, but I don't think
that's horseshit though.
That is horseshit because IMAX is fucking awesome.
Well, the problem is that most people have never actually seen IMAX because IMAX is film, it is not digital.
Yeah.
There's what do they call it? LIMAX that AMC shows, which is basically just a larger format projector, but IMAX is film.
Well, yeah,
That's what it is.
The Dark
it is,
Knight was shot on actual IMAX.
parts of it, yeah.
Yeah, the truck scene specifically, I think.
Yeah, and then one of the scenes where he like gets picked off by a helicopter or something. He's got like a balloon floating that pulls him away. It's something like that. But that's the thing is people don't know what IMAX is. And you're like the movie theater in Eatontown, the AMC has an IMAX theater, and I saw what did I see there? American Sniper there, and I was like, I don't really feel that, like, I bought an IMAX ticket, and I walked out. I said, hey, I don't think this is screening. Like, did I go into the right theater? And they were like, yeah. I was like, but my ticket says IMAX, and they're like, yeah, that's the IMAX, and I was like, well, I'm never paying this ticket premium again.
No,
the Lincoln Square AMC in Manhattan does have true IMAX. I saw, what was Christopher Nolan? Dunkirk. I saw Dunkirk there on 70 millimeter film, or mostly, I guess, and the Apollo movie.
To me, I would still buy the ticket based on the sound. Because especially with IMAX, I get it. It's not the true resolution from film, but the sound is still incredible. And to me, especially when I hear sound in a film, like I should be able to close my eyes and if the sound is good enough, I should still be able to kind of understand what's going on based on what I'm hearing. And that's
fair.
That's just that's how film, that's how sound and film in general should be edited, depending on what you're making.
I guess so. I mean. So I was asking you what was the best theater experience you had this year. So for me, it's completely different. Where I'm not worried about the surround sound. So maybe not my favorite time at the movies, but one of my most interesting movie experiences this year for sure, and definitely one of the best audience experiences. If you want a good audience experience, going to the right theater is massively important. So I like going to the Metrograph in Manhattan, and they pretty much exclusively show foreign and weird old films. They don't really do first run.
Good. I miss theater. There's no theaters around here like that, honestly.
Right.
Except me. There's Manasquan. There's Asbury, I think, has one. Or no, Asbury Red Bank.
Red Bank has one, and then where did we go to see Shin Godzilla? Because that was similar to that.
Oh,
I saw that at a weird place called Film Bar in Arizona when I was doing that baseball job.
Oh wait, you saw Shin Godzilla?
I saw Shin Godzilla, yeah.
Yeah, so that movie I thought was really
But where
good.
did you guys see it?
I forget the name of the theater, but no, it was definitely like a movie theater that had 4 rooms, and the theater was super
In
small.
Jersey?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Now that I just had my first drive-in experience.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where?
I was in Styria.
Yeah.
I was up in Greenville, New York for Memorial Day with my girlfriend, and we went and saw Dirty Dancing.
Damn.
And that
Classic movie.
It does not hold up at fucking all, first of all.
I agree with you.
I don't.
But
I
yeah,
don't agree. I like
I
that
had my
movie.
first driving experience, so it's I try wherever I go. I try to go to a local movie theater there. When I was in Milwaukee, it wasn't an option. I could only go to AMC. But I really love. There's a great theater in Fort Lauderdale that I can't remember the name of. I saw the movie Stoker there, which was remember a few years ago when they were giving Korean directors a bunch of money to make American films. This one it wasn't Park Chan-wook, but I can't remember. The movie's called Stoker. It had Nicole Kidman. It was pretty good. Took my grandparents to go see it, and they were like, "What the fuck did you bring me to?" That was great. The drive-in, dude. The drive-in, what a great way to watch a movie. What an interesting way to watch a movie. I'm not gonna say great, actually. It was kind of weird to have things in my periphery.
Yeah, that's
the whole time.
And that's something I've always thought about. I wanted to experience a drive-in theater, but here's the thing: there's already glass in front of me.
Yeah.
In the thing.
A rear view mirror.
Yeah, right. Yeah, a rearview mirror, and also how does this is the sound come from your car? Do you do a radio frequency?
Yeah. So they use low power FM frequency, and that was actually one of my favorite parts. I just thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
And this
How's
particular
the quality
place
on that?
The quality? I thought the quality was great, but then here's the funny thing is I'm a professional. My job is I'm a sound recordist for film, and I'm so not an audiophile. I just am totally as long as I can hear it and it's clear, like that's kind of what I was driving at about like one of my favorite theater experiences this year, or at the very least the most interesting, was I went to the Metrograph and saw a movie called Intimacies, which is a 4.5-hour Japanese drama about people putting on a play in which you watch a 2-hour, 10-minute play in the middle of the movie. So you have an hour of them rehearsing and figuring out how they're going to put the play on. You watch them put on the 2-hour and 10-minute play, and then you see a bit of their lives after the play.
Was it good?
It was interesting. So first of all, I'd never sat in a movie theater that long, and I made it a point to not, I strategically did not have to go to the bathroom during it. I did not get up. A few people got up and stretched their legs. Like a few people actually, the Metrograph is, it has just an aisle on the left. All the seats are to the right. It's a relatively small theater. And so a couple people, got up and kind of crouched in the aisle, which was, not really distracting. I totally understood. It was the one time where I was like, I kind of empathized. I was like, I'm not going to do it, but I totally get why you're doing it.
Yeah, honestly, I might have been one of those. I might be one of those people because I'm the type of person, like, if I'm in a car for too long, I'm like, fuck, dude, I need to get the fuck up.
There were 2 walkouts. 2 people walked out of the movie.
Yeah.
One person who was with someone else and left them to finish watching the movie.
My ex-girlfriend did that to me with the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Did she leave because it was boring or too intense?
Oh, the rape scene.
That's when you said that, I
Fair.
immediately knew. I used to have a really hard time watching rape scenes in movies. Now I love it. No, but there was a while where I found it just like really intense. It like freaked me out. Now I'm kind of more removed from it. I think it's because I learned how they actually film them.
Yeah.
They just actually rape people and film them.
I mean, well, that's how you have to do it, though.
Well, because I've been
Like in what was that fucking Marlon Brando movie where he stuck a stick of butter up the actress's ass?
Last Tango in Paris.
Maybe it was that one, and he like actually was going, something.
You
like
want to hear a really interesting story about just that?
that. Yes.
So as far as going to see movies in weird places when I travel, my buddy Zach and I were once on a shoot in Washington, D.C., walking past an independent theater that was having a film festival called Hump Fest, independent amateur porn film festival. It was $20 a head, so we went in, and the first...
Hell yeah, I would have gone too.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was so good, and it was mostly stuff that wasn't into. It was really out there. It was a lot of extreme kinks. Like, kinks are cool, man. Like, dude,
Everybody's got them.
Yeah, totally. Do your thing. Like, I'm like, no poop, blood, kids, or animals, and I'm pretty much or puke, and I'm pretty much.
What up, P?
I said my piece. But like, dude, the first thing we walked in and saw was, you can cut this if you need to, was
No, don't cut this part.
it was I'll set the scene. There's 2 guys laying in bed. They're waking up. One guy's waking up. It's a beautiful morning. He goes out to make breakfast for his lover, who I guess they just had a romantic night together. And he takes out the butter, and he opens the bread basket and sees there's no bread to make his toast. So what is a fella to do? He takes the butter out, and because this is a porn film festival, you had to be 21 to get in. He puts the stick of butter in his anus, and then we watch him do. It was in there. He then saunters.
Dude, that is hilarious.
No, I mean, like, because I really wanted to clarify that I have watched a man put a stick of butter inside his body through his rectum. He then, saunters and skips down. That's not a gay thing. He actually did that. He skips and dances down to the corner store, buys a loaf of bread, comes back, toasts the bread, squats over the toast, squeezes out some liquid butter onto the toast.
Dude, what?
And in one shot, no cuts, he brings the toast to bed to his friend, and they go to town and eat that toast. We watch them eat the entire piece of toast.
Dude, that is insane. And this is always this is always something I always wondered about, like porn stars. Like,
Call this episode Buttered Toast, please.
it's like not regular porn stars that are just banging like a Mia Khalifa or anything like that. But like I'm talking about like porn stars that do crazy shit. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Like for me, like dude, if I stuck butter up my ass and then like pooped it on toast and then ate it with my boyfriend, like, and then that was on camera.
I haven't met your boyfriend.
His name's Earl. He's a Scientologist, and
Okay.
but anyway, like, dude, like, what the fuck? Like, you're on camera, and like, not only that, like, dude, like thousands, or people are watching you do that, like.
Oh, okay. I see. What you're
Yeah,
saying that it's not even these people's profession.
Like-
they're just willing to put themselves
Yeah.
out there into the world on camera doing that.
Yeah.
That is. Yeah, I find
Like-
that really interesting because there were people who wore masks or obscured their faces, or which was, I guess, allowed within the rules. But then there were people who did not do that.
Yeah.
There was one that was like a lot of needle and syringe play and safety pin play that was way over my head. But I think seeing Dirty Dancing at the drive-thru was less interesting for sure.
Yeah. So you would rather see two gay guys eat buttered toast that was pooped out of another gay guy's asshole than watch Dirty Dancing?
Well, that only took 5 minutes, and Dirty Dancing was like 90. So. And no, here's the thing: that was my first time seeing Dirty Dancing. Nobody told me that movie essentially is about. It's like, so have you guys seen it?
Yeah.
You've seen it?
Yes. I actually like that movie.
Okay, but so here's the thing: it's like most movies where it's like, I've got to learn to dance for the big competition so we can win the money to buy the school's calculators back. It's like, I've got to learn this dance so that this professional dancer can go get an illegal abortion in a motel. It's fascinating.
Yeah. It's like there's always like weird shit like that in movies too. Like another example, like a Cocktail, not a good movie actually.
Oh.
I don't like that movie.
I haven't even watched that whole thing because it's such a hunk of shit.
It is. It actually, I do think it's a hunk of shit. I think it's severely overrated. But at the end of the movie, dude, like Tom Cruise's like pregnant girlfriend or wife or whatever is like drinking with them, and like, dude, she's
Yeah.
drinking like a martini, and I'm like, did no one like see this and was like, that's not like what? Like,
There's another movie, I can't remember what it is, where they went in and did reshoots because, speaking of like what we were talking about earlier, they went in and did reshoots because there's a champagne toast at the end, and they had just found out like a scene prior that the woman was pregnant. And while it's like, I don't know, if you're in the very beginning of your pregnancy, I don't know, drinking a small amount of champagne, I'm not a doctor. I don't know if that would be bad or not. Is it worse earlier? Is it worse later? Is it worse I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, people in the test screenings were like, that's weird. So they went in, they either reshot or digitally painted hers into orange juice, which I guess is a common alternative.
that's probably a cheaper alternative too.
No, I just mean a common alternative, like if a woman is pregnant and they're doing like a champagne toast.
Not digitally.
I read that, I think it was within that same article that I don't know why it would be orange juice. I mean, not everyone likes orange juice.
Yeah, why don't you just do ginger ale or Sprite?
But here was the funny thing, to go back to that 4-hour drama. So it was 4 hours. It was a drama. It was Japanese, so it was subtitled. There were large portions of the movie where I was watching the visuals and kind of following it and forgot to read, but didn't feel lost. And then that same director, they were doing a retrospective, because that's what's really cool about the Metrograph too, is they'll pick a director and just show all their movies. Not in one day. But I went back and watched his other movie called Asako 1 and 2. I'm not sure why it's called Asako 1 and 2. They didn't explain that in the liner notes, because Metrograph also has an awesome quarterly magazine that they put out about everything, and it's totally free, and you can read about what they're going to show.
Oh, that's sick.
This is a commercial for the Metrograph. I'm being paid. Dude, seriously though, it's like, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about in talking about the theater experience is so many people's experience of the movies is going to AMC. And I know in most places it's AMC, Regal, Magic Johnson. It's a multiplex. Just whenever you can, just go somewhere else. I mean, go see something different.
There are movie theaters that are like mom and pop.
Right.
Yeah.
And they really need, and that's like when we were talking about, or when I suggested that we talk about, because we haven't really gotten to it yet, but like how the movie going experience is going to change, is like these places are in danger, you know? And, you know, people talk about like, oh, local business. And there are local theaters, and they're so great. A lot of them are really great. I know of a couple in New Jersey, but now that I live in New York,
You're better than all of us.
yeah, is what I'm trying to say. In every way.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear. We get it.
Just in your vernacular.
Cut that out. I had no idea how many non-AMC movie theaters there are. I mean, there are a shit ton of AMCs. But when I got here would be definitely something to talk about when talking about the theater and movie going experience and how it has changed and will change. Movie Pass.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I rode that wave hard. I can't remember what the average ticket price in the country is for a movie, but in New York it's like $17.50.
It's $4 to $5 more than what it is here.
Right. And
it's something similar like that out in California too. It's something like up in the
probably
high teens.
So when Movie Pass came out, I was like, holy shit, I have to have it.
I got it too.
And did you find it was worth it here?
Yes, actually.
I guess really you only have to see one or two movies to make it worth it almost anywhere you live.
Yeah, because it costs less than one movie ticket here.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Unless you went to like a matinee or something, I suppose.
Yeah. But yeah, I used it. I would go like at least 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And even just to rewatch movies while that was an option.
Right.
That I just really wanted to see again.
I loved having that ability.
And it was great. And like my only problem with it is sometimes when I was there, the check-in didn't work, so I couldn't use it to actually use the Movie Pass because the servers were down, which happened semi-frequently.
Oh, so did you get in kind of later into it? Because I got like second they dropped the price.
As soon as they dropped it to $10, I got it.
Oh, okay. So were you one of the people who it took forever to get their card?
No,
or?
I got mine in 2 weeks.
See, that's interesting because that sounds like we got ours around the same time. And I was in New York at the time where I would think the traffic would make it much more difficult to use. And during the time it worked.
Right.
It fucking worked.
I think that I didn't experience it right then because I know a ton of people who signed up at the same time as me didn't get their cards for like months.
Right.
It was when people started, like everyone who signed up started getting their cards is when it kind of started getting finicky. But it wasn't frequent. It just, there was a time here and there when it would work.
Okay.
But that was a fantastic deal while it lasted, which everybody knew it wasn't going to last.
It was
but I took full advantage of it, and I loved it.
I feel like it was, and this is going to sound corny as shit. I feel like it was a really special time in movie going because you had more people. You had to have had way more people going to the theater way more frequently than they ever would before. I saw in the 6 months that I had it. I did them because I don't have the app anymore. I used to have a list of all the movies I saw, but something in the neighborhood of $450 worth of movie tickets in 6 months, to the tune of $60.
Yeah.
Repeat viewings. I didn't go to AMC. That's when I was still. I boycotted AMC for a few years. Now, I don't. I'll get into that in a minute. Begrudgingly, I don't boycott them anymore. But I would go to Regal, I go to Metrograph, the Angelica, Village Cinema, where I just saw 2001: A Space Odyssey in 70 millimeter. That was pretty neat.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So many theaters. Man, there's so many great fucking theaters in New York. But now that Movie Pass isn't an option, it's like, shit, man, I don't get to go to the movies as much. When AMC launched their A-list membership, I had to seriously consider it, and that's what I use now.
I mean, it still is a great deal. It's what, 20?
Oh, it's a great deal.
20 something, but you can see.
I got him when it was 20, so mine is staying at 20.
Nice. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, it's like I think it's like $24, $25 or something like that.
Yeah.
And you can see 3 movies a week. You can reserve ahead of time, and the best part is you can see
3D and IMAX and whatever without paying extra for it. Whereas MoviePass, they didn't honor those tickets.
Correct.
You couldn't get those tickets.
It was
but it's
only
3 movies a
standard
week,
screenings.
and and you could use them all in one day too because it resets every Friday or Saturday or something.
Yeah, I believe it resets every Friday. So you could, if you wanted to, you could do like
You could do a triple feature.
yeah.
if you want.
And I think it either resets. I think it resets either like Friday, like Thursday midnight,
Yeah.
like exactly Friday, so that you can't like see 6 movies on the weekend when it's like prime
That
time.
makes sense.
I can be wrong about that, but yeah. And the thing is, so I pay $20 a month because I'm grandfathered in, I guess. And a true IMAX ticket at Lincoln Square is $25.99. So I save $5.99 the first
Yeah.
IMAX movie I see, and I've seen like 3 in a month before. I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of a pain in the ass to get up there to that one because it's just way uptown. But the thing is, I still find myself looking at AMC's show times and going like, well, fuck, all these movies stink.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wind up still on top of the subscription I'm paying. I paid $30 this month to go to 2 movies at the Metrograph.
Yeah, but they're movies you wouldn't have seen otherwise.
Exactly.
So in that case, it's worth it.
Right.
It all depends on the type of movie you want to see, but I think AMC, obviously, they're in it. They're getting paid to put in the biggest movies, across the world, and those always get priority, of course, because that's part of their contract is to show it. But they do. I've noticed that for like independent movies, they have been increasing their screenings.
They show them a lot more in the city as well.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They show a lot of foreign ones in the city because obviously there's a bigger market for it. They
Yeah, of
show
course.
Midtown Manhattan. You can see a lot of Chinese language films, a lot of Hindi films. I haven't seen any Hindi films yet. I've seen a couple Chinese language films. Yeah.
But yeah, it's still a good deal. So, even if you want to see just all blockbusters or, some indies that have the limited release or, just mid-tier, whatever, it's a pretty good deal. So I think that, and that is a result of what MoviePass did.
Right. I just kind of wish that they had more. I wish they made more of an impact. I think if they were around longer, they would have. I think you would have seen ticket prices drop.
Yeah.
If maybe even temporarily until MoviePass ultimately died. But the thing is, I would, because I think they just tried relaunching. Because they're still a business. They have billboards in Midtown. Those are expensive
they're
billboards.
somehow still going. They've split their stock like 1,000 times to try and keep afloat and keep trying to get investors. I mean, then it was too good to be true for a while when they dropped the price because how can you survive if you're paying the full ticket price from the company each time? And then of course they made Gotti.
Oh my god, I can't. But that's such a weird move to me. And here's the thing: I didn't.
Did I tell you I watched Gotti actually?
How was it?
Why'd you do that?
Dude, it's awful. But I'm gonna tell you right now.
Please.
It's like, I'm like, do you ever watch MXC? Like,
Yeah,
do you,
yeah, oh
do
my
you,
gosh.
like enjoy pain. Like,
Yes.
you enjoy it's like, dude, like these actors are in pain doing this movie.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
like.
Well, but wasn't it a bit of a?
So John Travolta, the entire movie goes like literally will just go like, and I know like that's very vague and like not very descriptive, but
Yeah.
that's because literally like his dialogue is very vague and not very descriptive, and he just makes noises throughout the movie. It also like weirdly intercuts with the real John Gotti and John Travolta. Very confusing. But anyway, I didn't know they made Gotti actually.
Well,
until you just said that.
they didn't make it per se. They distributed it. Is that it? Because
No,
I
I
mean,
think they were a financer.
maybe for like reshoots or something. Because weren't they working on that movie for like 7 years or something?
Probably in pre-production, but I think in the actual production of it. Let me just
okay.
look.
Well,
But then
here's-
MoviePass did start like a film division.
right, because they also not sponsored, helped with a movie called it was a foreign film about people who were like deformed. It was nominated for best makeup at the Academy Awards. I can't remember what it was called though. I didn't see it. But the thing is, I didn't know about they were not good at promoting themselves because honestly, if I knew about MoviePass when it was $50 a month and it was unlimited tickets, any theater, I gotta say, I'd probably cancel all my streaming services and pay the $50 a month to go see.
Well, it's all about the messaging. I mean, if you don't message your product correctly, it doesn't matter how good your product is, to a certain extent. Because I mean, think about it this way: like when Apple announced their new 6K monitor recently at Worldwide Developers Conference, people were shitting on them because it's a $5,000 monitor with a $1,000 stand.
Yeah, but the people shitting on it, or $1,000 stand, the people shitting on it are not who it's for.
Thank you so much for saying that because, dude, reference monitors can cost up to like $30,000-$40,000. Apple's reference monitor, which literally is 6K, not 4K, is a fraction of that price.
My 4K NEC monitor is like $1,500 or something, and that's a cheaper low end.
Dude, all the memes that people are making about like Apple is it's actually like the biggest bargain I think that Apple's probably ever put out, but they mismessaged it horribly.
Do you think John Lasseter, not that John Lasseter makes the monetary decisions at Pixar, but do you think the people at Pixar are even thinking twice about buying those $6,000 monitors or that $5,000 computer?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Because that's who it's made for. There's a reason. But here's the thing. Apple has money.
People are criticizing the price of the monitor.
Yes.
And the monitor stand.
No, I think
that was just a weird move.
The stand is what I've been seeing memes about, not the monitor itself.
I've been seeing memes about everything.
I've only been seeing the memes about the $1,000 monitor.
Don't normally come with stands.
Well, no, I'm just clarifying.
Right.
But
because it's assumed that it's going to be mounted to a rack, which already exists in a professional studio. So why would you need a stand to put it on a desk when that's not how professional studios are often arranged? Mine is just on a desk, but I'm also not. I mean, my shit's hand-me-downs.
Yeah.
and I'm running off a 2017 iMac that I opened
the trash
up.
can.
No, iMac.
iMac.
But I bought it all the lowest specs, and I learned how to soup it up myself.
Good.
Not that changing the RAM is any difficult task, but but that's the thing is, it's. Apple muddied the waters when they removed their line of MacBooks in lieu of just calling all of their laptop, well, aside from the Air, but the MacBook Pro. Now everyone has this MacBook Pro and goes, I've got the MacBook Pro. And then they say, we're relaunching the Mac Pro. And they think, okay, they're putting out a new computer. Not really. They're putting out a new tool for professionals who earn their living by using these tools. If a company put out a saw, companies have a table saw that's $5,000. Would people be like, but it's just a saw. It's just a circular saw mounted in a table. Why is it $5,000? Well, it's not fucking for you.
Yeah, it's for literally the person
because you
that
don't
makes a living off of it.
You don't make your living, needing it to be perfect and needing it to work all the time and not have I know someone who uses the trash can and they actually truthfully weren't super thrilled with it for a very long time.
Yeah.
However, I think that had to do with timing because video made a giant leap right after the trash can came out.
Yes,
and he's a video professional, so he bought the trash can, was editing, and was like, well, shit, now this doesn't really do what I needed it to anymore. And he's now using the iMac Pro, which he's thrilled with. That thing is a fucking powerhouse.
Well, and it's a shame that.
And again, there's the iMac and the iMac Pro. They didn't muddy the waters there. I have an iMac. It cost me under $2,000. The iMac Pro is $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah. And also too, the word pro in general is just very mismarketed. I can't like cell phones should not have pro at the end of them.
Are there phones with Pro?
There's some Android phones out there.
I don't even know what that is.
Right, it's just a bigger.
I mean, Android phones. What the fuck is?
Yeah, oh yeah.
all right, let's get back to the actual topic.
Sorry.
So actually, back to movie theater experiences. So what has pissed you off the most? It's what's the one what's a single movie where you left angry not at the movie but at the experience?
Well, you say single movie, but I work freelance, so I have a good amount of days off, and I will absolutely just leave a movie, go get my money back, go get a voucher, and come back at I like seeing movies at weird times. So like one example is I saw Cars 2 at 11:30 p.m. on a Tuesday, so that I knew that there weren't going to be any kids in there, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, I'm trying to think, because there was something recently where I was like, all right, fuck it. I'll come back. I actually, oh, you know what? I watched the first half of Hereditary, which I got talked into seeing on a Saturday, like, opening weekend. So a horror movie opening weekend
Is awful.
is like, what the fuck was
That's
I
the
thinking?
worst, and it sucks too because I want to see it as early as possible, and like anybody, like
I wasn't even like super. I was just so annoyed. So I went out. I got my money back, and then
I didn't
came
see
back.
Hereditary in theaters though. I wish I did.
Hereditary was pretty cool.
I
It was good.
I
It's good. When I saw it though, I didn't have an issue in theater, and then the last, or I mean, when we saw fucking Truth or Dare, that was. If I had been actually enjoying the movie,
Yeah.
like it was a good movie, and how that crowd was, I would have been annoyed. But because I didn't give a shit about the
Yeah.
movie, because it was so ridiculous, and we were just laughing the whole time at what's supposed to be a scary movie, it would have bothered me. But
I did enjoy how bad
last-
that movie was.
no, that's why it was
Yeah.
enjoyable. Because it was so fucking bad. It's a horrible
Right.
movie.
Well, like
but I
was
would
able
laugh my
to
balls off.
Right. I was able to ignore a little bit of the chatter and fanfare of like Endgame, where ordinarily
Yeah.
people cheering would kind of be annoying. I went into it being like, okay,
Yeah,
this
when
is,
I saw
this is what
Endgame-
people are here for.
When I saw Endgame, the fanfare was limited to basically 3 different moments, and it was for 5 seconds, and it was spread out. Which, you know, I'll never clap in a movie because it's fucking stupid. I'll never clap at the
Not
end of a movie.
during, no.
I've clapped after movies.
Do you do a lot?
I've
Is the
never
director there
started it.
hearing it?
No, but
But
like
anyway,
I've just
so much-
personally enjoyed it so much.
But point is, like, I try to avoid that, and there are certain times where it's easy to avoid. And then when I saw Endgame the second time, I saw it at like 2:00 in the afternoon, and there was a bunch of elderly people in there for some reason, and none of them knew what was going on. I don't think they knew what they were going to see, and they were all having conversations, and it was always like, "Who the hell is this? What's going on with this? What's going on with that?" And then
Like no one informed them. Oh, this is superhero movie
Yeah.
22.
Yeah. No, 22,000 actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so it's things like that. But when I saw when I saw the Tomb Raider movie, this is when Movie Pass was out, so I used my Movie
Okay,
Pass.
I was gonna say, why the hell did you do that?
Strictly because of that, and because I was like, okay, and because I just played the game that it was loosely based off of, the reboot game,
Okay.
great game. So I went to go see it, but there was a guy sitting next to me who was actively trying to predict each of the next lines, like, and I could hear him saying it, and then he would get pissed when he didn't predict the line right, and which is mind-boggling to me, was annoying. And then getting to horror movies. So when I saw it,
What?
there's a lot of kids in there who shouldn't have been in there because I think they snuck in because it's
so
an
not a
R-rated
kids'
movie.
movie.
And not even kids, I should say young teens.
Assholes.
And yes, and they were being obnoxious to it. But when I saw A Quiet Place was when the horror movie that I was most nervous about being in it and having the chatter, everyone was dead silent the entire
Yeah.
time.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I know, I was amazed, and I was like, thank God.
Isn't it a shame though that you go and I feel like that's what people talk about, like, oh, going to the movies sucks now. Is going to the movies now has kind of become stressful for me.
Yeah.
Like I'm sitting there during the coming attractions and watching people on their phones going, all right, is this guy just using it because of the trailers, or does he not care that he's using his phone in
Yeah.
a movie theater?
Do phones bother you in a movie theater?
Oh yeah.
So actually, that's one thing that really doesn't bother me because if you're on your phone, you're not talking, and like the other screen doesn't bother me.
That's fucking amazing to me, because so I think that's kind of part of the split too, of you being like, oh, I want to hear the helicopter go over my head. It's
Yeah.
like, that isn't important to me. Do I know that there's a helicopter? Yes, perfect. For me, it's like the fucking AMC promo. The movie is on the big screen. I don't want to see your
Yeah.
stupid fucking face light up, or have just this blind, like the people who don't even turn their brightness down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing to me.
That's
that
annoying.
just
And it's
doesn't that hurt their eyes? Like every disturbance aside, like isn't that? Oh, is that from The Last Jedi?
Yeah.
How dare you?
You didn't like it?
No. Did you?
I thought it was like a 7 out of 10.
Dude, that's where I put like some of my favorite movies. That's a high grade.
Well, yeah, our grades are definitely higher. Like I grade higher. Well, also
Can they hear this if I scratch my face?
probably. Forgive me if I'm putting words in your mouth, but
Please.
When I rate movies based on an experience. It's like sometimes like I can see a movie that's heavily flawed, but if I walked out with a great experience, part of that score goes towards that experience.
But don't you kind of like let it marinate for a little while and then really decide how you felt about it? Because like for me, like that 4-hour drama, I called my buddy Zach right afterwards, and I was like, I don't know how the fuck I feel about it. And then like 4 days later, I was like, I kind of dug it. Like it was long.
Well, that's also a very different experience compared to just seeing most other movies.
Sure, right. But so like something like like my favorite movie, The Place Beyond the Pines.
yeah.
The first time I saw it, I was like, that was cool. And then like I didn't watch it for like a year and a half, and then I caught it like on HBO or something, and I was like, holy fuck. Whoa. Shit.
Do you take technicalities into when you rate a movie too? Like as
Technical aspects of the film?
yeah.
I guess so. I mean, that depends. What do you mean?
Because like for me, like I try to keep technical aspects out as much as possible because that's
Right, you
not-
try and shut your brain off to
yeah. So like, it's really like I guess that's where we kind of differ from what like to me like, but also to me like a 6 out of 10 is like a little disappointing. Like
Okay. See, like for me, The Last Jedi is like a straight up zilch. It's like a total goose egg. I think it's a horrendous piece of shit that occasionally looks good, but otherwise I don't think it holds any story, like any value on a storytelling level whatsoever, because everything it sets up.
well, also why didn't the First Order just speed up and catch him?
Like, holy shit. I mean,
Yeah.
what, you're going to get kind of tagged a little bit? You've got shields. It takes them almost 2/3 of the movie to come up with a plan to destroy, like, to shut their shields down. What's funny is, like, Red Letter Media, like, Mike Cock, the guy from Red Letter Media, points out that there is basically an episode of Star Trek Next Generation that's all about a slow speed chase just like that. It takes the whole episode. I don't have a problem with the idea that it's a slow speed
It's kind of a
chase.
nice change.
But I wasn't convinced that it would stay that way. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. I remember, so that's actually an interesting story about a movie-going experience as well. So I saw that movie. I wound up with 2 tickets opening night. I saw it by myself, and then I was going to see it with Brandon Wiltbank. So we were going to meet for dinner.
We actually were in the same theater as Brandon.
Yeah.
When we
So
saw
you were
it.
in the same theater as me, unless he saw it another time. Was it opening night?
It was opening night.
opening night.
How did we not cross paths?
Or maybe we did. I don't remember.
No,
we didn't.
Oh no, then I only remember Brandon.
I remember
Are you
seeing
sure?
you were with Mike DePaula, right?
No. So he saw it another time.
Oh, I
Yeah, he
guess so.
did. Yeah.
That wasn't opening night then.
Well, no, it wasn't opening night. It wasn't the Friday night. It was like Thursday. It
Oh,
was
we
like
saw it Thursday
Yeah,
night.
it was a Thursday night.
I saw it the first night you could see it because
Thursday.
I saw the fan experience, and also Brandon hadn't seen it yet. So I saw it at like 6 p.m. or like 5 p.m. Got out, I walked out of
Imagine
the
we
theater.
find out like Brandon's a fucking liar on the air on Awesome Sunday Show.
He probably is. So we go, I see the movie and I walk out and I'm like kind of shaken, and I see this guy and he's wearing a Star Wars shirt. He's like 5'0", 300 pounds, and I'm looking at him, and he's like, "Was that good?" And I was like, "I don't think it was good." And he goes, Dude, I thought it was going crazy. And then like 6 of us were all like, dude, that movie straight up sucked. Like, this is how people felt when Phantom Menace came out.
Yeah.
And then I had to go have dinner with Brandon, and Brandon's another very serious moviegoer, and we had a strict policy of, I'm not even going to tell you what I thought about it. I'm not even going to acknowledge that I saw it during dinner. We're going to talk about everything and anything else, and then go back in and see it. And I'm like, fuck, I got to watch this fucking movie again, because I can't even tell him, no, I don't want to see it again, because that would taint his viewership of it for the first
Yeah.
time. You know, so dude, I had to watch that hunk of shit twice in a row on opening night. I was like, all right, maybe seeing it a second time, it'll be redeemed, and it's man, I mean that Kathleen Kennedy has just like single-handedly destroyed Star Wars, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been pretty like. I mostly like the new Star Wars stuff.
I love the Force Awakens.
I love Force Awakens.
Love Force
too.
Awakens. I really like Rogue
Yeah.
One.
I will tell you.
I
that
didn't like Rogue One or Han Solo.
I didn't like Solo. I don't like Solo.
I like Solo. But I will say this: like, great movie theater experience was when we saw The Force Awakens. It was me, you,
Oh, yeah.
McAllister, and
Kevin
Cass,
McAllister
I think.
and Cass. Yeah, and
from Home Alone.
yeah. All right, there's no camera.
Great.
But anyway, fucking that was a great experience. Because I remember the audience was awesome, and there was clapping during the movie, but. I will tell
Opening
you,
night Star Wars. It's a little.
yeah, and I will be the first to say I hate clapping during movies. I like to clap after a movie if it's really good, or just don't fucking clap. Like I don't want to hear your claps when there's
I
dialogue.
get that. You know, a fun fact about clapping and Star Wars. You may know this. The executives for 20th Century Fox were terrified after a Japanese screening of Star Wars because the audience just sat there completely silent for like the whole credits and then just got up and quietly left. But it's just a whole cultural
It's the
thing. And
cultural
it's
thing,
the
yeah.
highest. It's like the highest honor you get. Like in some country,
Yeah.
some cultures, like burping after a meal is like the chef is like, "Oh my god, thank you." In Japan, sitting completely silently after a movie is the utmost respect you can give for it, and they didn't find that out till later.
That's great. Yeah, Force Awakens is fucking dope. But that's because J.J. Abrams, in my opinion, is he's another level. Like he does science fiction pretty well.
Right. What's your opinion on because again, my buddy Zach. What's your opinion on seeing a movie you've already seen that's getting like another run in theaters? So like, let's say a theater is showing Jaws one night only.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I love it too.
I would do it. I haven't had the opportunity, but I would definitely do it for certain movies. It wouldn't even bother me at all.
It's a lot of those are like. Here's the thing. Like a lot of times when they do that shit, especially around here, it's like the Fathom events. So it's like
Yeah.
it's like a Tuesday at like 12 p.m.
Right.
And like
Which the AMC A-list will not honor Fathom events, which is a huge pain in the ass.
yeah, but even like Fathom events too. It's like. Thank God the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie wasn't a Fathom event. But
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but all the other DBZ, they're not D. It wasn't Dragon Ball Super, but they were technically
Right.
the Dragon
The-
Ball Z
yeah.
movies, Battle of Gods and
Resurrection
F. Was so we couldn't see those in theaters because they were sold out because they were Fathom events. So there was only like 1 or 2 showings a day for a week.
Fortunately, I got to see both of them in theaters. I saw them at the what's the one in Tom's River? Seacourt, which is a great theater, and it's owned by AMC now, but it's a really great theater because they haven't updated the seats. That's I hate these fucking recliners, dude.
What?
I fucking love
Now
them.
that's where I disagree with you.
I think
I
they
love 'em, dude.
suck.
Oh God.
Although there are
I want to
times-
be
there-
sitting like this at the movie theater. With
No, I
some
like to be
armrests.
comfortable.
Where I'm in a folding chair right now. I want my back rigid and upright, maybe a little bit of flex, maybe a little bit of play in the backrest. I'm not there to lounge. I'm not there to. I can watch a movie like that on my couch in my living room. I'm here to. I'm not here to watch people go and hear the leather going and see the stupid indicator light in the corner of my eye when someone just I can't make up my mind. Where's the button? And then you ask. Some of them have the heater, and you hit it with your elbow, and then you're like, "Why is my asshole sweating?" And you're like,
I've never been to one that has a heater.
Yeah, I've never been to one. Of those.
I think only one that I've been to, I think, had them, but it
Why
did
would you want a
have it.
heater though?
Well,
Your bun's nice and
generally,
toasty,
they
man.
keep movie theaters pretty cold.
Yeah, I like.
Oh, that was
I also
that
like
was
that.
AMC. That was an AMC in
Antarctica.
no, just above. That was when I went to go see The Favorite, the second time.
Great fucking movie.
Yeah, I saw that twice. Yeah, that was really good. But I don't like the recliners, and that's what that's what I love about Metrograph is they're practically just like wood seats with cushions on them. They're great. They're like
Yeah.
pews. It's like,
like-
it's so perfect because the movie theater is like my church, man. It's like don't talk or text. Like treat this
Yeah.
place with respect. Take your fucking hat off. Not really, but like. That's what drives me nuts about it. I think is I feel like it's such an important place, and that's so cunty to say.
No, it's not
But-
cunty to say. It's true. It's dude.
If not only for the fact that like we're all paying to be here, like
Yeah.
how like who the fuck are you to ruin my
That's why.
$15?
That's why I
time?
hate when people go there and they have conversations in the movie. Like, if you want to watch a movie and talk at the same time, stay at home and fucking do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And I say, like, who are you to ruin my time? But why are you paying this this kind of high price for entertainment when you're going to ruin it for yourself?
Yeah. Okay, so like a frustrating experience that I had was at a Regal in Florida when I was visiting my grandparents.
Okay.
And I took my grandmother to see Sully. She fell asleep, which was great because she falls asleep because she talks during movies a lot. So so she fell asleep literally like within 20 minutes. I was like, yes, I can enjoy this movie. And which it was okay, fine. It was fine. But there was a lady behind me, like literally the aisle behind me, with dementia. Or something. I assume it's dementia, but that's just lack of my medical knowledge. With her daughter, who's probably in her 40s or whatever.
Okay.
And like the entire fucking movie, anything that would happen, the daughter would explain loudly to what's going on to her mother, who clearly doesn't know what she's watching. And I know that because she asked 4 times if that's Tom Hanks throughout the movie.
Oof.
And like, listen, I get it. You want to take your mom out, like, and she probably doesn't have a lot of years left to live. But what the fuck, like?
Well, that's kind of, and that conversation's been had before, and it's tough to answer. Is like, you know, people bringing like maybe their disabled children to the
Yeah.
When I went to go see The Force Awakens, like I think like the 4th time I saw it, there was a person in front of me with some sort of breathing apparatus, and I was like, I didn't fucking come here to watch Star Wars with Darth Vader, man.
Yeah.
Like it's literally like a scuba. And the thing is, it's like, does this guy not also, like, is he not entitled to go see a movie? Of course he is, but it's like it's a really tough one, man, because that shit's distracting to literally everyone within earshot.
Yeah.
Or like someone with Tourette's, which I don't think happens probably super frequently.
Well,
but also
also-
people think Tourette's is always someone screaming, and it's not.
It's just like ticks and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, or oh my god, like,
Well,
when
this is
people,
how I feel about it. If
Sure.
I was medically impaired to the point where it was distracting to other people in a place where you're supposed to pay attention to a certain object, thing, or event, I wouldn't fucking go.
Devil's advocate, though, isn't that just so easy to say as a
It is easy
completely
to say,
able-bodied person?
But like, I'm sorry. But it's
And
not
you
so-
also don't know that you would feel that way if you were in the position.
Well, that's what
No,
I'm saying.
well, no,
exactly.
Yeah, But like to counteract that point, it's not because it's not me as an able-bodied person thinking it. It's me knowing the experience of people around me and like knowing how I felt. in
Being
that situation.
self-aware,
Yes.
right.
Like, are you not self-aware enough? Like, okay, like you can't go to the you might not be able to go to the movies. That sucks. But like, you know what else sucks? You ruining 50 to 100 other people's time.
Yeah, and that is the trade-off. Is it's like, and bring it back to Star Trek again. Like, the needs of the many outweigh
The needs of the few. Yeah, except
So-
for Star Trek, the Next Generation. Which one was it? Like the 5th one?
I don't remember.
Where like they're like on that planet where it's like where they like it's a farm and Data is like trying to be human, and then like Picard is like, well, we can't forget about these people. But meanwhile, it's such a shitty movie. Anyway,
Well, I'm glad you just spent that time to not get to your point.
That was a good tangent. But like, yeah, because I think about like severely autistic people or autistic children who are going to yell and scream, and I've been in theaters where that's happening, and I'm like, part of me is like, all right, this parent is probably fucking, like, this is their life. It's like, well, it's like Louis C.K. says, like,
Yeah.
like you can't get upset about a baby crying on a plane because it's like, that's this person's life is dealing with this kid. But people have to travel. You don't have to go to the movies.
yeah.
It's just really, really hard because I couldn't fucking imagine my life without going to the movie theater.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's like, dude, that's like I love going to the movies by myself still.
I
Like,
go to the movies almost I can count how many movies I've gone to this year. I can open my app and take a look, and that's actually not even an accurate reflection because I still go to other theaters besides AMC. But it's probably in the last 6 months I've probably been to the movie theater like 30 times plus.
Nice.
Probably like 29 by myself. You
Yeah.
know, I prefer. I'm not there to hang out with someone. I'm there to sit quietly and
movie.
watch a movie.
But even like even when I do go, if I'm making sure the people I'm hanging out with are reaching the same goal as me. Like, shut the fuck up and enjoy the movie.
Well, yeah, I was just thinking this morning about it after like thinking about this conversation, and I saw Taken with Ryan and Brandon Wilbank. Random Wilbank.
Yeah. A random Wilbank.
Random Wilbank. I think Mike Spring and Mike Caggiano.
Wow, dude, classic.
And Mike Caggiano wouldn't shut the fuck up. Plus, he cut his cock off and threw it at the screen.
That half of that's true. Unfortunately,
Yeah, he didn't throw it at the screen.
Yeah, he threw it at a person.
You should cut that
Definitely
out.
cut that part.
I'm gonna cut
No,
that
but
part.
so I saw it with a group of people. I mean, but that's high school. That's not even a really good example. It's just people were shitty.
No,
Plus, it was
fuck that, dude. I
Well,
don't
no,
give a shit
dude,
how-
I know, but
Yeah.
also it was opening night of Taken at
Yeah.
the Monmouth Mall. Like, what the fuck are you expecting? I just remember sitting there like, ugh. Like me and Wayne Pulowski one time went to go see.
Oh, dude, Blast from the Past. I haven't heard that name in a while.
He was just up here recently. He's living in North Carolina. He sells cars. He's doing well.
Oh, good for him.
He and I went to go see The Eye. The Eyes.
With
Jessica
Jessica
Alba?
Alba. It's the American remake of the Japanese horror
Correct,
film.
correct.
And it's the shittiest one out of all of them. Because
Yeah, they were doing a bunch of them at that time.
Yeah.
And that one really,
that was the
really
worst
sucked.
one. That was worse than Dark Water. Because
I don't think I saw Dark Water.
well, Japanese horror movies are like on another level of like awesome.
Oh, dude, I fucking love Japanese horror movies. Don't
Yeah.
get me started, dude. Audition.
I love that movie. Takashi Miike is
Takashi Miike is
another
fucking next level.
level of
His
director.
his Yakuza films are amazing,
Yeah,
which is
dude.
the Japanese mob.
Well, the Yakuza make the mob look like children, like just in general.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like for real, it's crazy. You can tell like a Yakuza because they're usually missing the tip of one of their fingers. I
Mm-hmm.
don't remember which finger, but that's like
they're
that's not even like a punishment. It's like, do you want to be in? Well, we're taking the tip of one of your fingers.
Yeah.
His movie Ichi the Killer.
I love that movie.
Holy shit!
I've been telling you to watch that movie for a
Yeah, I
while.
haven't seen it.
I think I've showed you the clip of him masturbating on the bush.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That's
I've
real
never seen the
semen.
full movie.
Yeah, it is. Didn't he get it from the crew around?
The crew
Yeah.
jerked off into a bucket,
Oh my
and
God.
they used that.
Yeah, but how did I don't know? Like they must have done it real fast because semen doesn't stay that white for that long. Like I
We got an expert
jerked off
over here.
enough times. Like
We got an expert over here.
It also doesn't spell out the name of the production
Yeah,
company,
right.
usually, which that's amazing. How amazing is that? The main character, who's the sociopath, jerks off onto a potted plant, and then the
while
cum-
watching
was he Harvey
a guy
Weinstein?
beating his wife.
and then the cum turns into the opening credits. That's Oscar worthy.
That's art.
That's high art. But he makes really good movies. I'd really like to see something of his in a theater. I have not.
I would love to. I would rewatch 13 Assassins in a theater.
Oh, I forgot he made that.
Yeah. Did you see
But I haven't seen that either, actually.
Blade of the Immortal?
I did not.
Blade of the Immortal is not as good as 13 Assassins. 13 Assassins, fuck, you've seen that, right? Did I show you that movie?
I have no idea.
It fucking rocks. Like I've shown people 13 Assassins that don't like foreign movies,
Mm-hmm.
hate subtitles, and they're just like the typical like
I feel like such a traitor for not seeing that movie in the theater and giving it one person's worth of ticket revenue to prove that people want to. Like I always feel like I actually feel a sense of personal responsibility when shit like that happens. Like if a movie that really like would ordinarily have no chance of being in like a first run theater is out and I don't get to see it, I feel like I genuinely feel like a sense of responsibility and I feel bad that I didn't add to the pool of money that
Yeah.
it just goes to show, hey, people want to see these movies in theaters.
And also too, like, despite how bad a movie can be, dude, like a lot of people worked really fucking hard on that movie. Like,
Dude, Baywatch.
Yeah, I know you worked on that movie, and
I think we talked about it a lot last time. So there's no real need. And also, it's like I never even think about it anymore. It's so weird because that was the only the only major feature I ever did, because that was when I was in a union in North Carolina. Like, the whole movie was shot in Georgia, essentially. I think they did some pickups in Miami, but
I think that just got put on HBO Go.
oh, did it? I have HBO.
I think so. Or
I'll have to
on
check it out.
Amazon Prime. It's on one of them.
Oh, okay. I don't have Amazon Prime. But anyway, like, I worked for 42 days almost straight, 12 to 16 hours a day, in the hot Savannah sun, in the Savannah summer thunderstorms, all outdoors. I don't think I did anything indoors on the entire shoot. And it's still a hunk of shit that flopped, I think, right? Like, I don't think it made much money.
I'll look it up, but I don't
And-
think it made much money.
And my entire unit wasn't credited.
No, that's just
Really?
ridiculous.
Not even on IMDb.
That is so shitty.
That's really shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a box office killer. It made 177 million on a
Let me guess the budget.
yeah.
I should know this, but I don't. Did it make money?
Compared to its production budget, yes.
80 million.
65 to 69 million.
Okay.
Still, that's not like.
But that doesn't take into account
P&A,
advertising,
Prints
which
and
is
advertising.
yeah.
Yeah. So usually they say you can double it, but I don't know if that's true. I mean, that's definitely not true in every case.
It's not, and like I mean, I'm like for the case of like Dragon Ball Super Broly, it was really that 8.9 to 9.9 million dollars for that budget was almost just for the production of the movie.
Right.
Yeah, there was like barely any marketing.
Yeah,
that
it
wasn't
didn't-
just like
Well, you don't need
self-release.
to market something like that,
Yeah.
because when you're going to do such a limited run, literally everyone who wants to see it knows it's happening.
Yeah.
To go back to like Louis C.K. again, it's like that when he was making stuff, he'll be making stuff again soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know, when he was making Louis on FX, he was like, we don't want to do like a huge ad buy, because I only really want the people who want to see the show to know the show exists. Because if we did this like crazy ad buy and it was like, watch Louis 10:30 on FX Thursdays every Thursday for the next 6 weeks, it's like, then you have people watch, like, that show bums people out.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah,
I don't
because you're like, oh, Louis C.K. He's a really funny comedian. Let me watch this show. That's definitely going to be really
well,
funny.
but I don't even mean in that way. I mean bums, like, it's fucking incendiary a lot of the time. It's
Yeah.
really offensive, and when
Yeah,
that starts happening, you have like, you can have a viewership, like a really high viewership, and just a few people write letters to sponsors, and then you start losing sponsorships. So having a big ad buy isn't always a good thing. It's like
Yeah.
you just need to find out what's the right ad buy for your movie. Something like, to
Right.
go back to The Place Beyond the Pines, I never heard of it until I was there to go see another movie, and I wasn't like super into the movie I was going to go see. I just hadn't been in a few days. I was like, fuck, I got to go see a movie. And I saw the poster. I was like, I really like Ryan Gosling because I had seen Drive.
Oh, he's such a good
What's
actor.
this?
He really is a really good actor.
Yeah.
He's definitely up there for me. Hey, did you like The Nice Guys?
Yeah, I love that
liked it.
movie.
Yeah.
I love that fucking
That movie's
movie.
fucking great.
Yeah, it's dude, it is really fucking funny. Like, and I thought
And his physical comedy is incredible. The scene in the toilet stall.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
yeah, that was great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I honestly like he is a very good dramatic actor, but that physical comedy showed that he can really do that shit like continually.
I couldn't imagine, like, just the
And that surprised me because up until then he was either, like the romantic
Pretty boy,
heartthrob or
yeah.
the pretty boy or just like this, the silent guy who's like super mysterious.
right driver. Yeah, it's but fuck, man, he was good. The scene when they're going up the elevator and he's freaking out and he's just like, it's like
Yeah.
it's just all on his face. He's not even moving. It's incredible.
Yeah, I love that.
And a much lesser known movie, his Only God Forgives, also directed, written by
Nicholas Winding
Nicholas
Refn.
Winding Refn,
Yeah.
who made Drive, shows similar part of his range as in Drive, but it's still amazing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Did you like Only God Forgives?
Yeah, dude, I own it on Blu-ray. It's fucking.
I never
awesome.
checked it out because I heard really mixed things. But how do you pronounce his name? Nicholas
Winding Refn.
Refn.
I could be saying that wrong, but that's how I've
I'm
heard it
I'm
said.
actually like I've actually kind of just discovered who he is recently.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I've seen Drive and I love
I've only
Drive.
seen Drive and Only God Forgives. I don't know what else he's made. To be honest.
He made a trilogy called the Pusher trilogy.
Oh, I do know of that, but I
Yeah,
haven't seen it.
and that's where Mads
Mikkelsen?
Mads Mikkelsen started, and he was in Pusher 1 and starred in Pusher 2 because
Okay.
all three movies take place within the same time frame, but within different. But like the second movie is like the main character was a side character from the first movie.
I will-
like that's and, like,
He
the-
also directed Bronson with.
That's a
Tom
good
Hardy.
Oh,
That's a good movie.
yes, yeah.
And he did the Neon Demon, which I haven't.
Oh, Neon. What the fuck am I
Yeah,
talking about?
again,
I love Neon
I've,
Demon.
yeah, I've never seen the Pusher trilogy, but like apparently a lot of people really like it.
Yeah, Neon Demon's one where I was living in North Carolina at the time in a town called Southport, and it's like an hour from civilization, and I had to drive to Wilmington, which is a city you've maybe heard of in North Carolina. It's kind of a big film area. That's where the local film union is located in Wilmington, North Carolina. And I had to drive out there to go see the Neon Demon, and I was the only person in the theater because, like, who the fuck in North Carolina is going to see this movie? And it was so awesome. Oh man, that's a really good movie. Now I want to watch that.
He almost made a movie about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, starring Keanu Reeves as those characters.
Really?
That would be
I would've seen that.
interesting.
Here's the thing: Keanu Reeves, in my opinion, is a very, very good actor. But he's the type of actor. He's like a Nicolas Cage, where if he has a bad director, it's just a train wreck.
Well, I mean, I feel like you could say that about almost anyone, right?
No.
Well, I guess there's some people who are just going to turn in a good performance no matter
It's just
what.
how they are. Like, dude, like Anthony Hopkins, like, you know, he can be in the shittiest movie, but he's still Anthony Hopkins. Like, he can still deliver like he can say a crazy line, but sell it to me. You know.
He also is colorblind. Can't see mid-colors.
Really?
Yeah. Which...
Keanu Reeves is colorblind?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Nicholas Winding Refn.
Oh, that
Sorry,
I knew,
moved off on
actually.
that.
That's why his movies are so fucking wildly colored.
Yeah, that's why I was gonna say. That's what when I just saw that, I was surprised because of those aspects. But lately, I haven't really had any too much negative movie experiences.
I also
but
feel like I do go to the movies less now than I ever did.
There's just been less I wanted to see this year, or less I've been able to go for the short runs that they've been in.
Yeah, and also, and I feel like not for nothing, like, and this is just me personally, like, I kind of like I have a 4K TV, I have surround sound, like, I have my own shit, and like,
I hear it's the best in
Oh, yeah,
Ocean
okay.
County.
Like, to be honest, like, I used to go to the movies and see the same movie like 3, 4, 5 times sometimes, even if I just liked it. Like,
The
I
most
loved
I
it.
ever saw a movie was 5 times, and that's tied with The Force Awakens and Inside Out, which were both out around the same time. So I was at the
Yeah.
movies like 10 times
I
in
saw
2
Toy
weeks.
Story 3 4 times, and I saw
3 for me.
And the most I ever saw in a movie theater was The Dark Knight. I saw that 5 times in a movie theater. But
Right.
like, who didn't see that movie 5 times?
Yeah, 5's a lot. I hated The Last Jedi, and I saw it 3 times.
Yeah.
Just to make sure you hated it.
Well, I saw it twice. Like I was saying earlier, I saw it twice on opening night, and then my little brother wanted to go, so I was like, all right, I'll take him.
But yeah.
So you have the best surround
So you
sound.
prefer just to he has the best surround
No,
sound. in
I'm
Ocean
just
County.
saying, like, I just like now it's just like, dude, like I have you can get that quality like in your own home. Anybody can, and it's just like, you know what? There isn't people bothering me, and I can pause and piss and like.
and that's
But
the
I'm saying-
argument.
but like, I get that.
It's
but
just
if
not
there's
the
a movie
same.
you want to see. It's not. It's also. It's not the same experience. I
It's
agree with you
not.
on that.
I
but
agree.
also at the same time, like, are you actively going to avoid seeing a movie in theaters just so you can wait for that experience when it comes out?
No, not at all. I'm just saying, like, I don't mind. It doesn't bother me. Like, here's the thing: if I see a movie that I absolutely love on my TV and that was in theaters and I missed, I'm not that upset. Like,
What's like? Was it?
and
I
it's
think it
not
was Spielberg or some other
Yeah.
like a group of other big directors at one point where
Oh, after the
apparently
Academy Awards this year?
well they were getting I could be misremembering who was part of it, but there was floating an option of you can pay, it was something like $50 to see, and they would send you like a
time digital file or whatever, like some aspect of the movie that's currently in theaters. They would send it to you, and you have a limited amount of time to watch it, and it was like uncopyable or something like that. But you paid $50 to see it so you can watch it at home. I don't think it ever took off, clearly, but it was there was an idea that some investor was trying to get them to get on board with.
Well, I feel like that wouldn't happen because the big distribution companies, there's already a pay service that is cost in the hundreds of dollars to belong to. Like it's total 1%. Like Spielberg is, I believe, is a member of it. People with legitimate like theaters in their homes, like 20-foot plus screens.
Yeah, they have
where
like,
they're set up for a DCP, which is do you know what a DCP is? Digital cinema package, which is what theaters receive. It's basically a hard drive with a timed file. It can only be played so many times.
Right.
They know when you play it. And for a yearly membership fee plus the cost of, like, I think it's $250,000 or something for the license to be in the club. And then, the movie can cost anywhere between, like, I think $1,500 to $2,500. And they send you the hard drive and you can watch it once. But it's a DCP. It's
Well,
the
yeah,
highest
and
quality
also
you
if
can get.
you're rich enough to afford that, it's the cost of a movie ticket.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's
At that point.
Right, when you scale it up,
Yeah.
But here's the thing: one day I want that. I one day I want speakers. I want to have a room just dedicated with a projector, like dark, because I would rather bring the movie theater experience in my own home than have to go out and be and like you said before, like be stressed out.
It's
And be
stressful.
stressed out. Like,
Is this going to be a good audience?
yeah, I would rather pay fucking thousands of dollars and get my own shit and fucking and enjoy my own stuff and then have some fucking jack off ruin my time.
See, I feel like there's still a ritual aspect to it, though, where I think I'll always, on some level, really enjoy going to a movie theater. And
I will too.
And even being, because like, I know I said, like, I'm not going there to, like, hang out with someone. It's like I don't want the rest of the audience to talk. But to know that I'm sitting in a room with a bunch of people who are also being told the same story at the same time. And then, like, something that's great about the Metrograph is every time I leave, I've only gone with someone else once. And I've been there, like, 7 times. And every time I leave, I walk out and I stand outside, the movie theater with 5 to 10 people that have never met before or have because we've seen other movies there at the same time and discuss the movie for like an hour.
Yeah, and
that's why I like going to see movies with my friends because then I don't have to wait for them to see it. So then, especially with coming with this,
that makes sense. Yeah.
You get your initial impression once you see the movie and you're talking to it. And then sometimes, by the time we get back here, if we're recording in the same night of seeing the movie,
I really
the
want to do
impressions
that
can
with
change.
you guys once too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I just, again, because I'm ready for the conversation. It's fresh in my mind. I know exactly the points I want to make. And so I like that aspect. I like going with my friends, but I'm not going to talk to them during the movie. Exactly.
Right. It's just fucking crazy.
But the good thing is, I can say is, well, the usual people I go to the movies with, none of them want to talk during the movie either.
Right.
So it works out perfectly. It's just, it's the other theater goers you have to see. So I'm actually kind of jealous of the Japanese culture of staying silent during a movie if it's great. Because that would be awesome.
I mean,
that's all over their culture,
Like-
though. It's not even
Yeah,
just
yeah.
movies.
so at my job, I actually there's actually a Japanese immigrant population there, like a small one, and I'll sell TVs to like a lot of them, and like Japanese people actually speak English very well, like more than actually pretty very well. Better
Are you
than-
surprised by that?
No, actually, not at all. And when I talk about like movies or anything, like what do you watch? Like they're so serious and into like a story. Like, they respect it, and I think there's a deep respect for art, and it's so because like the United States, which like is such a center and and catalyst for such like artistic and creative freedom and why it just bothers me that you go to again bring up the stress in a movie theater that people can't our own culture can't respect our own artists in that sense, and other cultures are fucking do it so much better.
It stretches to all aspects of life, though. Like if you go to London and get on the tube, which is their subway, you don't you talk. If you're talking, it's at a whisper to the person next to you. Like there's not. Like, I'm always shocked when I see someone walking around with a Bluetooth speaker hanging off their backpack playing their music out loud.
I hate that.
Yeah, I hate
or
that
when
too.
they're talking on speakerphone, like in the crowd. Like
That
why
is-
are you
or like
doing
in
that?
Thor Ragnarok.
Oh yeah, when we saw Thor Ragnarok, there was like 10 or 15 minutes left in the movie, and this guy's phone goes off loud because he had the ringer on because he's a jackass, and he answers the phone as the movie's happening. There's still like 10 or 15 minutes left.
I think
It's at
there
the end of the movie,
should
it's cool.
there should be a sniper in every theater with like an airsoft gun.
Yeah.
And if a phone comes out, he shoots.
that's why I
he
love-
shatters the screen.
That's why I wish there was an Alamo Draft House around here because they don't tolerate anything like that. They,
Yeah.
Right.
if you're on your phone, if you talk, they go and they escort you out. They have ushers sit in every movie.
Here's what I'll say about
For that
Alamo
reason.
though. I find the whole dining theater
I
experience
never want to
extremely
go to a
distracting.
dining.
Alamos are dining.
Are they all dining?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh really?
So that to me, it's like just a fucking trade off. Like I went.
There are Alamo draft houses. Like they're like,
true.
if anything, it's
All
almost
right. Well,
like a
then I wish
restaurant
that they would
first.
take the usher concept and apply it to every other movie chain instead of
Like
the
yeah, it
dining
really
thing.
is shock. And the thing is, it's almost like I'm trying to. I have an example, but it's really heavily political. I'll give it, and if you want to cut it out, you can cut it out. It's like how Trump was saying the Tiki Torch like white supremacist
Find people
rally.
on both
To
sides.
find people on both sides because he doesn't want to affect his base. AMC is not going to pull people out for talking because the majority of people are shitty in the movies and they
Yeah,
buy
but
and
then,
they
like,
buy the
but
most
then They
tickets.
can put out a thing like "Don't talk during the movie." The screen is on, like the
Right, because they're
movie
going
on
to
a big
try. They'll sort
Yeah,
of.
but
But
it's
they
like,
can say
well,
they
we-
made an effort.
screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad our topic about movie theater experiences was half about movie theater experiences. The other half was
Not
about,
even half about me.
Well, but I mean, aside from obvious tangents, I think that
No, we got our points across.
yeah, but also like I think we might have talked about some more interesting stuff if we had stayed to like kind of a rigid thing. But one of my favorite radio shows, although it's it's changed over the last like 10 years, was like Opie and Anthony, then Opie and Jimmy. Now it's Jim and Sam, but Jim Norton and Sam Roberts, and they like they have some topics, but they'll allow themselves to just sort of talk. And while a couple times we strayed from anything related to movies, I think that I would listen to that. And this is the kind of thing I would like to hear, just people talking. Like, not that there isn't merit to having a structure or having a topic at hand, but you don't hear people just shooting the shit about movies and and movie theaters.
And like I kind of like we did it this way. To be kind of honest,
I agree.
Like in the beginning, I was like, we should probably.
No, I don't mind
yeah.
the tangents. There was
Yeah.
just certain topics that I have to cut out.
No, that's fine. I get
No,
that.
fair.
Before we end this, there's one question I want because you brought up Spielberg and the post-Oscars thing. For movies that are released exclusively to streaming, how do you like Netflix will release it in theaters for a week or whatever.
Right, they
the thing.
four-wall it is
Yeah.
the term. Yeah.
What do you think that they should still be qualified for Oscars, or do you put them in the TV movie category like Spielberg?
That's really tough for me to say. My mentor, who is a commercial director and is in the, it belongs to the same guild as Steven Spielberg, the Directors Guild, thinks that he's being like an old fuddy-duddy. You know, he's like, "Oh, get with the times, Spielberg." But as I've said a couple times and sounded like a total asshole, I feel like there's something really important and special about the theater experience.
Well, yeah, of course, but
And if they have to four-wall it, which is
okay. So you think that they should have like the
no, I mean as of right now.
Oh, and,
yeah, they have.
they
to.
have
yeah,
to.
I know that they have to. But
So it has to be in a theater for 2 weeks. Which, fun fact, Tommy Wiseau did with The Room.
Yeah.
In order to
True.
in order to qualify for Academy recognition. So anyone can do it. I could rent a theater in Red Bank for 2 weeks and show it. I think like a couple times a day. It's got to show. So that's one of those things where it's like, okay, technically it qualifies. I mean, if they're following the rule, I have yet to be really impressed, and maybe I haven't seen the right thing, but I've yet to be really impressed by a Netflix, Hulu, Amazon original anything.
Well,
almost.
okay, so I mean,
I've
they're
been
much
very impressed by some of them.
Netflix releases.
I think You Should Leave is fucking hysterical on Netflix. Watch it if you haven't.
But Netflix is their original movies have been 99% shit. Like there's
The
no doubt about
Cloverfield
it.
Paradox.
But Amazon,
Beast of No Nation was pretty good.
Bright.
Beast of No Nation was good. But like with Amazon, they're actually doing. They had, I mean, they acquired them so to make them Amazon originals. But like The Big
Right.
Sick, Manchester by the Sea, Moonlight, which won a fucking Oscar.
Welcome Marwin.
Yeah, Welcome Martin. So they
The one about them being fathers of deceased soldiers,
Yeah.
which also was Steve Carell. Maybe I'm just thinking of that one. Maybe Welcome Marwin wasn't. It had Steve Carell in it.
the flag one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Welcome to Marwin is the new one that he just came out where he creates a
Are you
fictional
talking about
world.
the one with Lawrence-
You're talking
Lawrence
about the one
Fishburne
with
and
Lawrence
Brian
Fishburne and Bryan
Yes.
Cranston. It's like the flag something,
Yeah.
whatever.
I was about to say Flags of Our Fathers, but
No,
that's,
but that's
no,
not
it's-
it.
yeah.
Something like that.
Letters from Iwo Jima?
Letters from Our
Yeah,
Fathers.
so Amazon
Yes.
has had better quality by far. I mean, they literally
'Cause they're
they have
acquiring.
Oscar, yeah. But I think that they're starting to actually like finance and produce them more now, but still
Gotcha.
focusing on acquiring because it's easier. But Netflix originals,
they just
there's nothing
there's no
impressive
quality
about.
control.
Yeah, well, because theirs is the same thing with their shows. Push out as much content as possible,
And,
Right.
and see what happens, and then cancel them early.
yeah,
They're doing fine with comedy.
but
Their
all-
stand-up, yeah, is a
But
new
and to
specialty.
be fair though, like
To be fair.
that has worked for Netflix. Like, yeah, most of the stuff kind of sucks, but when something's good, it's real fucking good.
And then they cancel it early.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so I was just wondering. So
That's a tough.
So if Netflix puts out a great movie, do you think it should be disqualified just because it did the minimal requirements to be qualified for? The
Well, if it
award?
does the minimum requirements, then like, if that's what they want,
Yeah.
then that's what they want. But to me, it does almost feel like, what's the? I'm trying to think of an example. It almost feels like, shit. I'm trying to think of just like another technicality, like. It kind of feels like Walter White and Jesse Pinkman putting $1 in Saul Goodman's pocket so that they can confess to
okay.
horrific, atrocities and have it fall under lawyer-client privilege. It feels like it just has to be this. That said, I'm looking for the exact loophole right now to get qualified for like a TV Emmy for a commercial I made. So
Yeah.
it's
You gotta do what you gotta do.
if you can report a loss on your taxes, you're going to report a loss on your tax. If those are the rules, you're going to use the rules to your advantage.
Right.
But does it feel right? I don't know. I mean, it's a movie. Should a movie have to play in every state or in every country to be qualified? No. That's a really
It almost sets the
And
bar
that's-
too high for anybody that's like so.
But the Academy Awards are a political game, so I know what you're
Yeah.
about to say. Like the independent filmmaker, who's kind of shunned from it anyway, for the
Yeah.
most part.
Yeah,
I feel like
but
the
think
right
that it's going
answer-
to be it's because it's already been a problem the last couple of years. There's been all this
Right.
conflict, and then with Netflix was banned. Was it Cannes?
For what?
Netflix was banned from the Cannes Film Festival because of these certain rules, and then
Oh,
in
yeah.
France there's a different restriction because there's a different restriction in France for
Right.
how it could work out.
Interesting.
I
didn't
and
know
that's
that.
just going to because it's just Amazon and Netflix, and now HBO Go is starting to do some original
Apple
movies or
TV
whatever.
Plus.
Apple TV is going, so that's what's coming into the future now is how the movie industry is already changing and will change. And then once it comes to awards, there's going to be bigger fights to alter it in some way.
We almost could have done a whole podcast on this subject.
Yeah,
we still can at a future time, but just
No,
wanted to
yeah,
get one last thing.
and I would love to. I was more making fun of how we just kind of went off on.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Some of my favorite episodes are the ones where we just go off.
Right. But no, to put a pin in your question, kind of, I feel like the right answer is yeah, of course they made a movie. This is their art, and it should qualify for the same thing. but in my gut, I'm like, because now we're all kind of aware of what kind of horseshit-ish the Academy Awards are. But in my gut, I want to be like, dude, it's if you're getting honored by the Academy, it should be. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't
Fair
know.
question.
I honestly, dude, like if someone has the passion and like if someone has enough passion and like enough drive and the work ethic, like I don't really think it should fucking matter, honestly.
That's like I said,
Yeah.
that's probably the right answer.
You know, like I don't know, and mainly because like, do you notice a trend too? Like, do you feel like things start like almost in independent movies and then they kind of cross over to
Like trends of how to make film.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look at Clerks. We talked about this.
Yeah, that's we remember we watched it like 4 a.m.
Yeah, it was great.
Or even like LGBT movies, like those were all fucking independent.
Like Tangerine.
Yeah, like and like now that's like a thing. Like
But I'm a cheerleader and
Right,
The Garden.
who's the, who
Hairspray.
What was the movie?
Love, Simon?
Love, Simon, and there was another movie too. It wasn't about a boy.
No, Bad Boy was about drugs.
Yeah, that's what was the one? It's the guy from the kid from Lady Bird that plays Space Harden is in it.
Call Me by Your Name.
Call Me by Your Name.
Oh,
yeah.
fuck. That, holy shit, is that a good movie?
Yeah.
That movie, in my opinion, got robbed. The fact that they gave Best Picture to The Shape of Water.
I fucking love The Shape of Water.
Dude, fuck The Shape of Water.
Oh god, that movie was like that was like a poem on screen to me. Like really was. I loved it.
Yeah, written by like a dyslexic third grader in crayon with all half the letters
I love
backwards.
The Shape of Water, but I can appreciate what you're saying.
What a fucking masterpiece Call Me by Your Name is. And it's like, yo, she didn't even like shove a towel under the door to try and keep the water from. The water fills up that room. That's a watertight room. Don't give me that.
It's not. It's leaking everywhere. It leaks in the movie theater.
I can't even look at you right now.
All right.
All right.
So that's going to wrap it up. Thank you, Jake,
Thank
for
you.
reviewing and for this idea and the fun time.
Yeah,
And-
no problem.
and
You're
your
always a
Thank
fun
you.
guy.
Thanks.
That's why you look like a mushroom. Anyway.
God. Do you want to? Should we do this?
Yeah. Let's just bury him out back.
Cut Connor.
Got me out of the show.
Well, thanks. I'd love to do this again more, with less time in between than.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been
Too long.
2 years almost now.
Yeah.
The
believe
Jake's
so.
previous episode is titled "The Other F Word." If you want to search it on iTunes or AwesomeSundayShow.com.
Yeah.
All right, take it
The
easy,
other
guys.
F word and buttered toast.
Buttered toast.
What's the third one going to be called?
We'll
We'll
see what
see.
happens.
Fucking butter.
Oh, you can't do that again. All right, peace, guys.
Hey everybody, it's time for the Awesome Sunday Show.